everybody. I'm just making a note. Look who we got here, you guys. They're jumping up on the bottom part of the cat tree. Hi. Meow. Ow. Ow, the claws are so sharp. All right, you guys. Hi. I almost said good morning because my day's just starting. Well, it's not really. I slept all day. I needed the darn sleep really bad. Hi, baby girl, Lloyd Boston, Angie, Sweet Misery. Yes, go eat your dinner. Hi, Destiny. Hi, everybody. Oh, God. Okay, so with all the rigmarole yesterday, I found out that I didn't need any kind of updating info for my son. If you already have an ID, at least in this state, you just get it updated. Can you believe it? Anyway, so yeah, but it's a good thing because now I have a certified copy of his birth certificate, my son's, if I ever need it. You never know. And I guess you have to, by a certain year, update your ID to advanced so you can fly at all, anywhere. even domestic. So yeah. Hi, Irish Badass. Hi, everybody. Hello. Yeah, please hit the like. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm only like 24 away from 900. Like, I almost feel like crying. Don't get me flipping emotional. Just thinking and talking about it gets me kind of welled up. So I've got a few friends sending me true crime stories and different things that they want me to do or they're just helping out with, and I'm going to get to those when I can. Right now, I'm doing disappearances. I have people making me. Maggie from the UK is making me thumbnails for that specific story, and it's really exciting. And um, I watched Jimmy's Purge Purge the Pirates Savage thing on 2 times the speed so I can get through it, and get to here and do what I need to do. And boy, he's a riot. He was on a roll. But I'm bringing that up because he's having uncensored. He says maybe he'll watch TV or something like that, and not want to do it. He's got to relax now and then. But that'll be later on because it's 8 here, only 11 your guys' time if you're down south. So hello everyone. Yeah. So it's been a good day. A lot better than the last couple as far as my personal life and trying to. Oh my God, you guys. Maybe a cat bumped into the whatchamacallit, the router. But maybe not. It's not raining. I just really don't want to go through constant problems with the internet like last night's live, but I got close to 1,000 views. Yeah, I was pretty surprised. Hi everybody. All right, so what's the matter with these? What is this? Oh, okay. So what I'm doing is these are stories that are true but seem fictional still, but I'm on the disappearances part. Okay. I'm trying to check out my. All right. So this one probably I've heard of before. I'm just gonna say it. I think he got murdered in the bar when he went back in and was taken out the back because this man, Brian Shaffer, wasn't seen coming out the door he went in. He was last seen going up some steps into this club. Yeah. And I think even with a friend or two, and something must have happened, but it's pretty sad. So I'm going to read this. So the scary thing about most of these stories are the details we don't know. Who made the phone call? Where did the person run? Was there someone else in the house? Or was this an accident or foul play? If only there were a series of strategically placed cameras that could show what happened. I'll show you a picture of Brian Shaffer in a minute. Well, it turns out that may not help either. So, as Cleveland's Fox B News reports, there were cameras all over Columbus, Ohio's Ugly Tuna Saloona. That was the name of the bar. Yeah, baby girl, I know. Well, thank you. I'm trying to put a video out every day. Sometimes I think, well, gee, you're just reading other people's stuff, but that's kind of what a lot of people do. I mean, they do. They read other people's things, they show news clippings, and then I try to add my own little like twist to it. But thank you for that. Where Okay. So the ugly tuna saluna. Side note, this is a terrible name, this writer says. I kind of like it. I think it's funny. On April 1st, 2006. Okay, so 6 and 14 is 20, so 17 years ago. But that hasn't helped anyone discover the whereabouts of Brian Shaffer since he disappeared that day. In fact, the cameras show him going in the bar, but never show him going out. The recordings account for every other person in the bar, both entering and exiting. Shaffer is seen going in at 1:15 a.m. So he went back in at 1? Or no, not back in. He went in that late? All right. I don't know. I was thinking it was like 11 p.m. or something, but he never comes out any of the exits. Any of the exits? Searches through the bar, the adjacent alley, nearby trash cans, and the nearby river turned up nothing. Well, I mean, his body then, right, you guys? Hi, honey bunny. Would have had to have been, oh, sweet misery, you didn't know he already had one? Jimmy? He had to have been shoved into some crate or box or sack or, right? And taken out like with the trash or something. I mean, they're not going to leave a rotting corpse in the bar forever, right? Despite a number of hoax tips, hope for Shaffer has been kept alive. His girlfriend would call his cell phone every night, and every night it would go straight to voicemail. One night, about 6 months after his disappearance, however, are you kidding? I didn't know this part. However, it rang. This is 6 months after his disappearance, 17 years ago. However, it rang pinging a cell tower just outside Columbus. Well, someone probably took his phone, right? This slim hope has been enough to keep his family and friends going more than a decade later. I don't know, wouldn't really keep me going. Okay, so let's see how long this is. Okay, this is the picture of him. That's him. I think he was in med school, you guys. I like your style. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's just so nice. You know, it's like I'm just winging it. I mean, I really am. I'm never prepared. Well, I'm kind of prepared, but I don't know what I'm going to read. I don't know how I'm going to react. I don't know how the chat's going to react. I don't know if my internet's going to go wanky. You know, keeps it suspenseful anyway, right? Okay, let's see. Oh, my nose itches. All right, let's see. How long is this?
Tonight, a story about a missing person
7
where
minutes.
fate seems unusually cruel. Less than 1 month after an Ohio man lost his wife to a deadly disease, his son mysteriously disappeared. Brian Shaffer, a medical student, was last seen after a night out with friends. Here's Rob Shaffer.
On a spring night, the city of Columbus reflects off the Olentangy River as students at Ohio State reflect on the end of another school year. There's the usual stress of final exams, but this year on this campus, something unusual: fear and foreboding.
You think something terrible happened? I truly do.
It's a mystery with tantalizing clues on tape. 1 minute, this young man was a grainy image on a surveillance video. The next minute, he was gone, and police are baffled.
All the tips that we've received thus far has turned into nothing.
And one student is living a nightmare until another student is found.
I want him home. You know, I want to see him every day.
She's talking about 27-year-old Brian Shaffer, a second-year medical student who seemed to have everything going for him: good looks, good grades, and a girlfriend he adored. Awesome and amazing is how he described Alexis Wagoner on his MySpace profile, and she says the same about him.
Brilliant. He's handsome, he's sweet and loyal and caring.
Like Brian, Alexis is in second-year med school. Like Brian, she's super
Hi,
smart
Donna.
and striking. The two were inseparable. They planned a trip to Florida for spring break, and they had even bigger plans. Are you convinced he's the guy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pretty much since day one, I really thought of him as kind of the love of my life.
Want to get married?
Yeah.
Then, one spring night, Brian vanished. Brian was last seen in this Columbus neighborhood, not far from the Ohio State campus. It was early in the morning on Saturday, April 1st. Brian had been out bar hopping with a friend from school. The evening began about 9 p.m. when Brian met up with his friend Clint Florence. The two were former roommates and drinking buddies. That Friday was supposed to be just another night out, as Clint told MSNBC's Rita Cosby.
Me and Brian always went out. Just nothing new. Sat down, opened the tab, and had 3, 4, 5 shots of liquor.
Alexis, visiting her family for the weekend, was checking in by phone and called Brian at 10 p.m. Did he sound at all concerned when you talked with him Friday night?
No.
He wasn't worried on the phone?
No.
Did he sound down, depressed in any way?
He sounded fine.
After Brian and Alexis spoke, Clint told the police that he and Brian walked to some more bars and downed some more shots, and then, with a friend of Clint's in tow, ended the night at the bar where they'd started. This surveillance tape shows them at 1:15 a.m. coming up the escalator to the bar. That's Brian leaning on the handrail. Once inside, they ran into a couple of young women Clint knew.
And Brian was doing his usual thing and was talking to those 2 girls.
At 1:55 a.m., Brian made his final appearance on the video. He was outside the bar chatting with the young women. Then he walked out of frame and disappeared. Police say it appears he went back into the bar. Minutes later, Clint and his friend got ready to go.
It was closing time about 2:10, 2 o'clock, and Brian was nowhere to be seen.
They told police they called Brian's cell and got no answer, even checked the bathroom, but no luck. So they left without him. Saturday passed without a word from Brian. By Sunday morning, Alexis was growing more and more concerned. She hadn't talked to Brian since that Friday night call. They were due to leave for Florida the next morning, and he still wasn't answering his cell.
I was really scared.
Late that night, Alexis says she began what would become a ritual, going to Brian's apartment to see if by some miracle he'd come home. Inside, she broke down. Since then, she says she's cried millions of tears.
I came here every single day the first few weeks and just, laid here in the middle of his bed and just sobbed.
5 weeks after Brian disappeared, and after an intensive investigation, Columbus police still have no idea where Brian could
Okay,
be.
sweet misery.
Sergeant
Thank
John
you,
Hurst
hon.
is the lead investigator. Any sign he's used his credit card?
No, there's no sign of credit card usage,
Cell phone?
no cell phone usage,
Buses? Airplanes?
nothing.
One part of the mystery is how Brian left the building without being caught on tape. Both bar exits are covered by cameras, as is the escalator that leads to the street. Outside the bar, out of camera view, are stairs and an elevator that lead to the first floor. Once on the first floor, the only way out, without being seen on tape, would be through a service exit that leads to a construction site with doors to the street. But why would Brian go that way?
There's no reason for anybody to want to go out that area. It's heavily under construction and would be difficult sober.
Police say it's possible that because Brian was drinking heavily that night, he may have been vulnerable to foul play. If Brian tried to walk back to his apartment half a dozen blocks away, he would have been an easy target. Police say there's a significant amount of crime in that neighborhood. In the meantime, Brian's father, Randy, is desperate to know what happened to his son. What has been the toughest moment for you?
Just not knowing or understanding what, why, where, how. I mean, there's just nothing that really fits.
This ordeal has been even more devastating for Randy because just 4 weeks before Brian disappeared, His wife of nearly 29 years, Brian's mother, died of cancer.
I just don't understand why I would have to go through so much.
Brian spent that last night before he went out with his friends, consoling his dad.
He was concerned about me, and he was going to go out drinking that night earlier. And he told them, guys, I have to be there for my dad,
So he waited to go out that night
because he wanted to be with me.
Now his father would give anything to be with him.
Somebody out there has to know something, no matter how small or whatever it may be. Please don't be afraid to call. Please help me find my son.
If you know anything about Brian Shaffer's disappearance or to learn more about the case, log on to our website at dateline.msnbc.com.
Gosh. Scary.
Hours later, the mysterious disappearance of Brian
This is
Shaffer in the early
17
hours of April.
minutes. What most likely happened? Let's take a peek at this. What most likely happened. I want to see if this guy's view is the same as mine. Yeah, I mean, just good grief. I think about all the times I went to bars everywhere, right? I'd walk alone to bars in nearish Boston. And I felt safe because, and I was alone because I lived alone and I was a waitress and I just wanted to go out and not be alone. Wasn't really like looking for a man or anything. I didn't even, I mean, I met men, right, at bars and said hi and all that, but it wasn't like bringing them home or anything. I'd take a cab home and stuff, but I would walk there and I felt safe because there were so many cars going down the highway. And I just think back how unbelievably stupid, the risks I took. And when I was in Okinawa, Japan, and he would get upset and mad and leave me. And I, instead of leaving with him and dealing with our issues at home, I would just stay and be like, screw it, and keep drinking. I don't know. Like a lot of us, right? When did this happen? 2006, 17 years ago, going on 18. And did they say it was Ohio, you guys? Oh, gosh. Yeah. All right, let's see what this guy says.
April 1st, 2006 is an unsolvable mystery to this day. How can a man disappear from a bar without getting captured on CCTV? Why did he disappear? Where is he now? Join us as we look at the evidence and explore theories and conspiracies to find the most likely answer to this perplexing mystery. So, who was Brian Shaffer? Brian Shaffer was a second-year medical student in Ohio State.
Some of this will be a little
on February 25th, 1979, in Pickerington, Ohio.
repetitive.
His parents were Randy and Renee Shaffer. He had a younger brother named Derek. He loved Pearl Jam, and his dream was to get a band together, own an island, and listen to Buffett all day while drinking margaritas with his senorita. In short, he was a simple guy. The year before he disappeared, Brian's mom, Renee, was diagnosed with a rare type of blood cancer called myelodysplastic syndrome, MDS. Brian loved his mom so much, so this news hit him hard. For him, Renee was the greatest and most wonderful person in the world. It was also around this time that Brian started dating a fellow med student, Alexis Wagoner. Most people who knew the couple believed that they were serious with each other. Renee loved Alexis and encouraged Brian to propose soon. She gave them a gift, a trip to Miami, Florida for their upcoming spring break. On March 6, 2006, 3 weeks before Brian's disappearance, Renee passed away. Brian was devastated. He had a difficult time coping with the loss. At one point, he even asked Alexis to run away with him. Whether it was a joke or not, only Brian knew. A week after, just a few days before his disappearance, he told Alexis that she should find someone else because he was in a dark place. Alexis refused, so the couple remained together. They still planned to go to Miami.
Hi, Art.
Then spring break began. Brian was exhausted, having pulled all-nighters to prepare for his finals. Not to mention his emotional upheaval in the past month. He needed to de-stress. On March 31st, Brian had dinner with his dad to celebrate. Aside from finishing the finals, it was suspected that Brian was going to propose in Miami. They were flying out on the coming Monday. Though bittersweet, it was time for Brian to start moving forward with his life. Brian also called his brother Derek, inviting him and his girlfriend, Maura, to join him at the Ugly Tuna Saloon after the comedy show they were going to watch that night. But the show ran late, and the couple was tired, so they just headed home instead. That was the last time the brothers talked to each other. After dinner around 9 p.m., Brian met up with his friend William Clint Florence. The plan was to do a bar crawl, one shot at every bar in Columbus's University District. They started out at the Ugly Tuna Saloon, located on North High Street in the South Campus Gateway Complex. They planned to drink their way to the Arena District. Around 10 p.m., Alexis called Brian. She was in Toledo to visit her parents before their trip to Miami. Brian confirmed that they will be meeting on Monday morning and told her he loved her. Around midnight, Clint called his friend Meredith Reed to join them. They met her in the short north of the Arena District. She drove them back to the Ugly Tuna for the last round. They arrived at the bar around 1:15 a.m. CCTV footage showed the three of them riding the escalator, going to the bar's entrance, which was located on the second floor. Inside, they met two women, one of which was a student of Clint's from Ohio State. Security footage showed Brian outside the bar around 1:55 a.m., talking to the young women before walking away, no longer seen on camera. This footage was the last sighting of Brian Shaffer to this day.
Hi, Tree Baby.
Since the camera
Hi,
didn't
Sunny
cover the bar's
Days.
entrance, police weren't sure if Brian ever went back in.
35
Nearing
minutes from
closing
you,
time,
Sunny?
around 2 a.m., Clint and Meredith realized that they hadn't seen Brian in a while. Clint tried calling his phone, but there was no answer. They tried to look for him, even checking the men's bathroom, but he wasn't there.
Stick
The
with
pair
your
waited
friends.
outside the bar once it closed at 2 a.m. When they still couldn't see him, they assumed that he had gone home without telling them. Brian's apartment was only 6 blocks away, so he could have walked home. Meredith and Clint decided to go home as well. The next day, Meredith drove Clint to pick up his car from the parking lot of Brian's apartment building. They didn't check on him, though. That same day, Alexis called Brian. The call went to voicemail. At first, she thought that Brian might just be sleeping off a hangover, but subsequent calls to his phone all weekend still received no answer. Brian's dad, Randy, also tried to reach him by phone throughout that weekend. Nothing. So he went to Brian's apartment to look for him. He wasn't there, but there was nothing amiss. Brian's car was still parked outside. The bed was made. His medical books were stacked neatly on the shelves. All his personal belongings were still there. Derek also stopped by the apartment after his dad told him that Brian has been missing for 2 days. But the only person he found there was Alexis, who was waiting for Brian to come home. On Monday morning, April 3rd, Brian didn't show up for the flight to Miami. That's when they were sure that something was wrong. By this time, no one had heard or seen Brian since that night at the Ugly Tuna. There was no activity on his cell phone, bank accounts, and credit cards. Randy reported his disappearance to the police. During the first few days of the investigation, headed by Detective John Hurst, nearly 50 cops joined the search for Brian. They interviewed everyone, including Clint, Meredith, and the two women in the security footage. According to Clint, he had seen Brian after he came back into the bar, but eventually lost track of him in the crowd. Later on, Meredith and Clint were asked to take a lie detector test. While Meredith agreed, Clint refused. He hired an attorney and
What?
didn't want to talk with the police anymore. He no longer could be reached for comment. The police checked the bar, hospitals, homeless shelters, and even dumpsters and trash cans along Pearl Alley, a pathway that ran adjacent to the bar. Cadaver dogs were used to search for Brian's body. They even checked the banks of the Olentangy River for clues. There was nothing. Brian had simply vanished into thin air. At that time, no city in Ohio had more security cameras than Columbus. Law enforcement hoped that they could find some clues in the footage to help them shed light into this mystery. They looked at the footage from the surveillance camera that covered the bar's entrance. It showed the three friends riding the escalator to the second floor at 1:15 a.m. Around 2 a.m., the footage showed only Clint and Meredith going down the escalator. Security footage from the camera covering the bar's emergency exit also didn't show Brian leaving. In fact, everyone who went inside the bar was accounted for, except for Brian. Even if there was a blind spot and Brian was able to leave the bar undetected by these two cameras, those installed by nearby bars, Sloppy Donkey, Mad Max, Lucky Stout House, should have been able to pick up a trace of him passing by as he left the area. But there was nothing. Brian had vanished without a trace from the most watched city in Ohio. They posted missing person posters onto telephone poles. Randy had a website set up to ask the public for help. Various tips came in, telling them they saw Brian in different places, such as Atlanta and Sweden.
Tree
Some
baby.
suggested
That's
that Brian
hard.
was murdered. Others believed that he ran away. But nothing came in to give them proof of what really happened. In the following months, Randy, Derek, and Alexa didn't stop their search for Brian. Randy even hired psychics that led him to believe Brian could be found near the river. Both Derek and Alexis kept calling his phone, hoping for it to ring just once. One night in September 2006, it finally did ring when Alexis called. In fact, she got 3 rings before the call went to voicemail. However, the GPS on Brian's phone wasn't turned on. Pinging the phone showed that it was near a cell tower in the town of Hillard, 14 miles northwest of Columbus. Unfortunately, Brian's cellular provider stated that it was most likely a computer glitch. In May, just a few months after Brian's disappearance, someone broke into his apartment. However, the burglary wasn't in any way related to his disappearance. The case has grown cold, but the interest has never waned. 2 years after Brian's disappearance, authorities still had no clue as to where Brian was and why he disappeared, but they hadn't stopped investigating. Crime Stopper offered a $25,000 reward for information. In the same year, Randy, Brian's father, died in a freak accident. After a windstorm on his way to work, a tree branch fell on Randy, hitting him on the head. His body was discovered the next morning.
His father?
In the span of 2 years, Derek had lost his mother, brother, and father.
Oh, that's
leaving him
awful,
the
you
only
guys.
remaining living member of their tight-knit family.
That's
Days after
awful.
Randy died, the Columbus Dispatch posted an obituary for him on their website. Friends and co-workers left tributes online. One message stood out. Dad, I love you. Love, Brian. U.S. Virgin Islands. It was Brian's dream to live on an island, spending his days drinking cocktails while listening to Buffett. It seemed plausible. After all, he didn't need a passport to fly there, just a photo ID. But Columbus police traced the message to a public computer located in Fresno County. It was a hoax, and it wasn't the first one. In 2018, the ugly...
Oh, Anna. Jacqueline, right? Truth Seeker? She messaged me and said 22 dead. And I assumed, I think she's from Ohio, that it was there. And I left her and Rose is going to need support. She will be beside herself. Oh my gosh, yes, Melly. What? Do you know any details? Was it outside? PVT is extreme. Yeah, PCT, but that's okay. I was afraid that was it. Her literal area? Okay, well, I'm just going to say it on live here. She needs to just stop walking at nighttime like she does for the air by herself down the road after hearing this. You know? I mean, anymore. This is terrible. No, it's okay, Kathy. No big deal. Gosh. I do typos all the time. I have a 30-year-old and 3 grandbabies. My mom thinks she is her mother. Yes, I heard 22 dead. That's on my mind. Yes. How many more minutes? Okay, this is 11, so it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 6 more minutes of this, and then we need to zero in on that, you guys. I'm going to Google it on here and play whatever there is. Let's just finish this really quick. I'm going to grab some socks. 6 more minutes. You guys type any details, you know, and I got to look it up on here too. Team Rose is a friend of all of us, and this is horrific. This is horrific. Makes me think it's a store maybe or something. It's probably not in her town because doesn't she live in kind of a quiet area? But still, next to her is bad. All right, I'm going to grab some socks, play this, and then we're going to look into what's happening over in Maine. Get me the town. Well, it'll come. I'll Google Maine, state of Maine, 22 dead, and all kinds of stuff will come up on here.
Tuna Saluna, where Brian disappeared, closed its doors. In
Oh, they
2020,
did?
a photo of a homeless man in Tijuana started circulating online. The image was sent to Detective Blanche Tucker of the Columbus Police Missing Persons Unit, who sent the photo to the FBI for verification. The FBI
Hi,
used
Deborah
facial
Ann.
recognition software to determine if it was Brian. It wasn't. The following year, 15 years after Brian disappeared, the Ohio Attorney General's Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the Columbus Division of Police released an age progression image of what Brian may look like at that time. He disappeared when he was 27 years old. He would have been 42 then. Law enforcement hopes that this photo may lead to answers and give Brian's family and friends closure. The reward offered by the Central Ohio Crime Stoppers has increased to $100,000. To this day, there's still no answer to Brian's enigmatic disappearance. There are various theories, though. Some propose that Brian ran away to get away from the pressures of his life. Another theory was that Brian killed himself. There were also theories involving foul play, including one that pointed to the smiley face killer. But most of these theories aren't plausible. Brian, though grieving, was not according to friends and family. He had excellent grades, a loving family, and a woman that he planned to marry. He even called Alexis that night, confirming their plans for Miami. It would have been a very quick change of heart for him to walk away or kill himself. If he did kill himself, where is his body? According to Detective John Hurst, most people who commit want to be found. Now, let's say that he wanted to start a new life. Why didn't he touch any of his money? He didn't even use his credit card to pay for a flight to a tropical island. And most importantly, he didn't pack anything for his trip. Most people who run away at least bring some of their most precious possessions. Everything Brian had was still in his apartment. Security footage from any of the cameras in the surrounding area found no trace of him. Even if he changed clothes to disguise his appearance, where would he have gotten it? He didn't bring any type of bag with him. Even if he did, where did he hide it? There was another exit, one that led to a construction site. He might have left that way and died by accident. But his body has never been found, and the lead detective in the case mentioned that there really wasn't any place in the area where Brian could have fallen to his death without being discovered. Moreover, cadaver dogs couldn't find his scent anywhere. So many questions, no certain answers. But we do have an idea of what most likely happened. Our most basic assumption is that Brian is dead. As one of the most well-known missing persons to date, it's highly unlikely for him to remain anonymous with today's technology. Even his remaining family member, Derek, believes that his brother is dead. More importantly, there's no scrap of evidence to prove that he's alive. The questions we need to answer are as follows. When did he die? How did he die? And why did he die? Since he never showed up for the much-awaited trip to Miami, it's safe to say
Oh
that
my
Brian
gosh,
died
baby
before
girl,
April
really?
3rd. There's no activity on his phone and his accounts after the bar closed on the early hours of April 1st. So whatever happened to him occurred around 2 a.m. after he left the girls as seen on the footage, when calls to his phone went directly to voicemail. Since cadaver dogs and police searched every inch of the building and found nothing, it's safe to say that Brian didn't die inside the bar or anywhere within the building, including the construction site. If he died around 2 a.m. onwards and couldn't be traced anywhere inside the building, then he should have been able to leave the building. We know he didn't go down the escalator, but there was a stairwell and elevator that went down to the first floor service area near the Ugly Tuna's entrance. In the footage, Brian was last seen heading towards that direction. He could have gone down that stairwell unnoticed. A lot of the businesses on the ground floor kept their back doors open. Brian could have walked through any of those doors and out the front. Some of the cameras would pan from one direction to another. One camera installed at a nearby Wendy's was found to be defective. While it can be quite coincidental, stranger things have happened. Now the question is, what happened to Brian after he got out of the building? The area is pretty quiet. Not a lot of people would be hanging around. Moreover, it had a high crime rate at that time. It's highly possible that Brian met with foul play on his walk home. As to his body and belongings, the search for Brian only started after he didn't show up for their flight to Miami. The dumpsters could have been emptied, destroying any evidence that could lead to its discovery. And what about the pings to his phone? Remember, this happened in 2006. Technology wasn't so advanced back then. It was difficult to truly pinpoint a phone's location.
What?
The best result was
55
give a
to
general area.
60
In
injured?
addition, the telco already stated that the ringing phone was due to a
God,
glitch
you
in their
guys, this
system.
is horrible.
To say that the company is lying would be the same as admitting that there's a large conspiracy working in the background.
If she has a live and
It's
wants me to
doubtful
come
that
up
Brian
on
and
panel,
his
I'm going
disappearance
to.
involved some powerful people. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the most likely explanation. Occam's razor. Now, whether we'll ever know if our solution is the answer to this truly puzzling mystery, it's all up to fate. If you love our content and want to support the channel, feel free to check our web shop where you can find
Goodness gracious, that's Bad Things True Crime. I like these accent reporters or whatever. Gosh, you guys. Okay, well, let me type it in. Wait. Okay. Shooting in Maine today. Oh my God. You could see the shooter, you guys. You could see him. It's in a Walmart again? Oh, gosh, you guys. I don't even feel safe going up to Fred Meyer's store anymore. It's like a mini mall where they sell everything. This is just sickening. Okay, Lewiston shooting live updates. Police in Maine search for. This was an hour ago. Hopefully they got him by now. What a whack job. I don't even go to the mall, you guys. Like, I just really don't. I don't have money to shop anyway. Walmart distribution center. Hospitals are in mass casualty. Holy cow, you guys. All right, this is an hour ago update. Police are investigating. All right, we'll hit this one, New York Times. Oh, come on. What? It's a bowling alley? You guys, it's at a bowling alley. Police put city on lockdown, multiple casualties in Lewiston. The authorities said they were seeking a man who is armed and dangerous, but refused to say how many people have been killed or injured in shootings at multiple locations. And see the writing? People flee active shooting situation at Maine bowling alley. Oh, well, there were different. You're right. There were different places. Okay, here we go. What? There's no sound? Just pictures? On a Wednesday too, you know, it's not like it's a Friday or I mean, not that that matters really, but you know. Ugh. Okay, yeah, okay. This is what it says. The city of Lewiston, Maine and nearby towns remained on lockdown late Wednesday after shootings at a bar and a bowling alley that resulted in what the authorities would only describe as multiple casualties. Police officials said they were searching for a person of interest. This was 1 hour ago. There needs to be more of an update, I would think, but I'll just read this, okay, you guys? Police officials said they were searching for a person of interest, but declined to provide more specifics about the incidents or death toll. Mike Sawchuk, who oversees public safety for the state of Maine, identified the man they were looking for as Robert R. Card, 40, of Bowdoin, B-O-W-D-O-I-N. Bowdoin? Well, whatever. Maine. In social media posts, law enforcement agencies said he should be considered armed and dangerous, posted a photo of a man wearing a brown hooded sweatshirt and carrying a military-style semi-automatic rifle. Sorry, you guys. I don't think that unless you're like a hunter, we should have those. I've always been against guns like that. Not protecting ourselves, okay, not having, protection, but we don't need these things that kill multiple people, just boom, 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 like children in schools and whatnot. It's just sick. St. Mary's Health System, a medical facility in Lewiston, Maine, said that it had activated its emergency response plans, calling in extra staff to treat victims of the shooting, and canceled non-urgent procedures scheduled for Thursday morning. We are working diligently to ensure the hospital environment remains secure. St. Mary's said in a statement, we are asking for prayers. Maine's gun laws are relatively lenient, according to every town for gun safety. The gun control group founded by former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. The group said, is no independent background check system. No red flag law to identify those at extreme risk for gun violence. No requirement that convicted domestic abusers turn in their guns, and no permit requirements for concealed weapons. See, I'm not trying to turn this into a gun show, you guys, but we have all these laws and regulations on other things. I mean, we do. Driving, drinking at a certain age, buying cigarettes at the store, and we can't make some gun laws for the whole United States at least. Okay. Yeah, I hope I don't lose subscribers over my attitude and feelings about gun laws, you guys. It's just me. And I've said on Jimmy's Live many times, I'm a Democrat. I just am. I always have been. My parents were, my mom still is, my dad's passed away, but Wednesday night, there was a vehicle of interest had been located in Lisbon. Oh, you know who else lives in Maine? Well, I think I could say it here. I think I've said it before. Jamie. Jamie Peace, that Jamie. My gosh, I need to contact her too. At a news conference, the authorities said the shootings took place just before 7 p.m. Officials are concerned about the shocking act of violence in Maine. Nicole Wyman Errol, a resident of Lewiston, was headed home at about 7 p.m. when she passed Spare Time Recreation, a bowling alley where the Lewiston police said a shooting took place. Wyman Errol filmed video from her car, which shows people running away from the bowling alley and emergency responders treating victims. Wow. Oh gosh, you guys. Justin Jure, an owner of the bowling alley where the authorities said a shooting took place, said in a text message that there were about 100 to 150 people, including 20 children at the bowling alley at the time of the shooting. Okay, it didn't even dawn on me that kids might be there. I mean, it's a school night, and I guess if they're not up too late, I just didn't think of kids. I was just thinking of adults. This is bad. Well, any age is bad. Good grief. President Biden stepped away from a state dinner honoring Australia tonight for a briefing on the shooting with his advisors, according to a senior administration official, before returning to the event. He is no longer at the dinner. So, a Representative Chelly Pingree, a Democrat. There's no large cities in Maine, so this isn't like being in Dallas or New York City. It's a very tight-knit community in spite of the fact that it's a city. And I'm just sure there's just an enormous number of grieving families. Maine is a state where a lot of people own guns. There's a lot of hunting. It's just a big tradition in our state, but we've never had this kind of situation before. The superintendent of Lewiston Public Schools said that classes will be canceled on Thursday. There remains a lot of unknowns at this time. Information moves quickly, but not always accurately. Some of the injured are being taken to Maine Medical Center in Portland, a level 1 trauma center and the state's largest hospital. The hospital is also on lockdown with a steady stream of nurses arriving for work. Good grief. Is he still on the loose, you guys? It is so sad and disturbing, Donna. Hi, Melly Joe. Hi. Yeah, Tina, do you know how to call Rose? Yes. Is she really near Lewiston, you guys? Actually, I'm not going to say here what town she's in, but I mean, I have her address like with a P.O. box thing, I mean. So I could send her a thank you card for my things from her. Prayers for the family. Oh, geez. Hi, Lloyd Boston. Hi, Deborah Ann. They wouldn't comment on children. Yeah. Gosh, you guys, like what, I don't know. My daughter's 19. What about when she's driving someday and wants to go into a mall? You just really, really, right? Jimmy says this all the time, and I hear it, and it goes in one ear and out. It resonates, right? But then it goes in one ear and out the other. But he's really right. He's really right. You never know when your last day is going to be. You never know. I used to tell my kids, but I mean, they're grown adults, but when there were shootings like this, and I don't want to do it anymore. Makes my daughter kind of depressed and scares the heebie-jeebies out of my son, because he's got more mental deficits or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, still on the loose, still, baby girl? Yeah, Jamie Peace. Is she in here? No, you're just saying her name. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't think she'll answer her phone. Rose or Jamie Peace. Now I check Messenger, like I do before I do my shows. And I slept all day, like all day. Well, I got up early, did the ID thing, came home, fed the cats, laid down, and woke up 2 different times, but kept sleeping. And then it was 5:30 when I got up, and I don't normally do that. I don't. But anyway, I got on Messenger late. I haven't heard anything about this from Jamie or from Team Rose today. Just truth seeker, right? Jacqueline said, OMG, I'm not a member or something on Dolly Vision. So she couldn't tell him there's a shooting. I didn't know where, I didn't know what state, assumed it was her state. Oh boy. So the governor of Maine is a woman, Janet Mills of Maine, said she was briefed on the active shooter situation, urged residents to follow the directions of law enforcement. Oh my gosh, look at this college. These are people sheltered in place. Just, Bates College, a private liberal arts college in Lewiston, is on lockdown. Students are sheltering in place, keeping away from windows as they scroll through social media for updates on the shooting. Look at this. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in that picture. He has a Virginia sweatshirt on. Maybe he's from Virginia. Oh, goodness sakes. All right, we need to get, wait, 2 new updates on this? Look how far he traveled. Well, I mean, I don't know if, I doubt it's miles and miles, but look at that. The spare time recreation, all the way down to the Shemangus bar and grill, you guys. Oh, okay, New Auburn, Lewiston, there's Bates College. Bates College. Well, why? Bates College in Lewiston said that the campus would remain in lockdown for now and classes would be canceled on Thursday. What is a kitty cat? I'm trying not to cut my head off when I talk. Okay. We know that these events have shocked and frightened our community. The college vice president for finance administration, Geoffrey Swift, said in a statement, and we grieve for those whose lives were tragically lost in this heinous act of violence. St. Mary's Health System, a medical facility in Lewiston, Maine, said that it had activated its emergency response plans, calling in extra staff to treat victims of the shooting and canceled non-urgent. Oh, I already read that. I already read that whole thing. Okay, I already read that and that. So it's a fluid situation and would not provide a firm number of casualties yet. Hundreds of officers were working across the state to find the gunman. How's he able to disappear? Well, hello? Hello? All right, well, I can't read, honey. All right. All right, here, you need to get down, honey. Why isn't there sound? I mean, is there not supposed to be? Oh, gosh. Oh, good grief, you guys. Unbelievable. All right, so is there an update? At a bar and grill in a bowling alley, so sad. Hi, Lazy Boy, Deborah Ann, LJ. Hi, everybody. Is there a news conference? Let's see. Updates on Maine shooting. Latest update on shooting. Not good with the suspect at large, you guys. That doesn't even normally happen, does it? I mean, usually they get the, oh my gosh. Okay, this is 7 minutes long. Here we go. If I can get the gosh darn volume working. This is ABC News. Now there's an ad.
Programming with breaking news. We're learning details about what officials are calling a mass casualty event playing out in Lewiston, Maine, home to Bates College, about 45 minutes north of Portland, Maine. Law enforcement sources there say at least 16 people are dead and dozens more injured. A bowling alley came under fire, and there are additional reports of shots fired at a local bar and a Walmart distribution center. The local sheriff's office releasing these photos of the possible shooter. The suspect is still at large, and authorities are asking the public to shelter in place and for businesses to remain closed. Maine's Governor Janet Mills has posted, "I am aware of and have been briefed on the active shooter situation in Lewiston. I urge all people in the area to follow the direction of state and local law enforcement. I will continue to monitor the situation and remain in close contact with public safety officials." This is clearly an active shooter event still underway. The suspect still at large. And joining me now is ABC News senior investigative reporter Aaron Katursky. Aaron, I know you've been on the phone with law enforcement sources. What are you hearing?
We're hearing that there are at least preliminarily 16 people that have been killed in this shooting in Lewiston, Maine, that seems to have unfolded in 3 different locations, as you know, Juju: a bowling alley, a bar or restaurant, and a Walmart distribution center. The fear is there are dozens more injured, and numbers are still fluctuating. Right now, because the shooting still remains active and the suspect is not in custody, people are being told to stay indoors. Businesses are being urged to close. Neighboring New Hampshire is setting up roadblocks to prevent a possible escape across state lines. And the FBI is now moving aviation assets into the area to help with the search.
And we're seeing now surveillance video, what looks like grainy surveillance images of the suspected shooter. We're seeing police evacuating the area, citizens running clearly on the authority of law enforcement. Joining me now is ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. Pierre, what are you hearing?
Well, federal authorities are deeply concerned about this. Sources confirming to me multiple fatalities, multiple injured, as Aaron pointed out, multiple locations.
Child running,
law enforcement descending on the area, the FBI sending assets, making all resources available. I expect that the Attorney General will be briefed very shortly on this situation. Again, it's being described to me extremely volatile, extremely dangerous situation with suspects still at large.
Pierre, we're also being told that the president has now been briefed on the situation. This is clearly an active shooter situation underway. The suspect still at large. We talked about federal assets being moved into place, and joining me now is former FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, I know you're being briefed on this situation too. What are you hearing?
Well, the big advantage you have here is Lewiston is not that big. Because you have 3 locations, I think it really increases the odds that somebody knows who the shooter is. Because you're going to probably, or do have survivors in each location, I presume. So with that, you can start tracking this guy. Obviously, the big concern, if he's hit 3 targets and he's continuing to move, is he going to a 4th or 5th target? And that's a big concern, obviously, and that's why the shelter in place, et cetera, is going on. You will combine assets, as both of them have mentioned, about aviation from the FBI. I mean, you'll get everybody to come out to help you do this. But the real key, obviously, is intelligence. Who is this guy? And I'm going to guess in short order, if they don't know already, who he is.
And Brad, what do you make of that image that we're seeing now, that grainy surveillance image? What kind of weaponry?
I think he's ex-military.
Looks like to me an AR-15 or some version of it. It could be an M4. I'd have to see it closer. But it looks like to me that he's got some sort of extended magazine. I mean, typically those weapons, you can maybe shoot up to 25 or 30 rounds with a standard magazine. So that's why you have so many people shot. I'm going to guess the number is probably really big as to the number of people injured. And you've got to find this guy quickly. because is he, as I mentioned earlier, going to go on to another location? But that's sadly, Juju, the weapon of choice with these mass shooters.
I know, Juju.
And if you're shooting in close order, you can really harm a lot of people.
And Brad, as Pierre mentioned, a very volatile situation, a suspect still at large, an active shooter situation underway in Lewiston, Maine. Aaron Kaczynski, what more can you add in terms of perspective on this unfolding situation?
Maine State Police are now urging people to stay in their home with doors locked. Law enforcement is currently investigating at multiple locations. Maine State Police say stay off the streets, allow law enforcement to diffuse the situation.
Hey, sweet misery.
That additional shots could be fired with this suspect still on the loose, and so they are bringing as many assets to bear as they can. Aviation, roadblocks in neighboring New Hampshire, and
shooters
other
on the loose,
with at least 16 people believed to be dead so far, according to law enforcement sources, and dozens more feared to be injured. The Maine hospital taking the casualties, Central Maine Medical Center, says it is reacting to this mass casualty shooter event. They are not confirming any numbers, but they are going to be overwhelmed. So they're going to be coordinating with additional hospitals in Lewiston and the surrounding area.
And once again, the governor of Maine monitoring the situation. We're told that the president has been briefed. Pierre Thomas, what are you hearing from the Justice Department?
One of the things, Juju, is in a situation where the president is briefed this quickly, I can tell you that the scale is something that they're deeply, deeply concerned about. Also, the source I was speaking to a moment ago was just mortified at what they were being told. Also, the notion that
he is an Army vet
is something that law enforcement is now going to have to be prepared for.
Kind of looks like
tactical teams
to me, not
in play here. That is an all hands on deck situation with federal authorities trying to get there as soon as possible to offer.
Thank you, Art Cheryl.
Pierre Thomas from DC, thank you. Aaron Kaczynski, I know you'll stay on top of this. Once again, an active shooter situation at a bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine, as well as additional reports of shots fired at a local bar and a Walmart distribution center. You're looking there at surveillance images. Of course, we will continue to monitor this developing story. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. I'm Juju Chang at ABC News World Headquarters in New York. We return you now to your regular programming.
Goodness gracious. Wait, can I stop it? Yeah, didn't he shoot inside the bowling alley, you guys? Didn't he? Yeah. Wow. Unreal. All right. I'll be right back in a second. I'm gonna run a teeny bit of music. Okay, it's not gonna be long. Wow. Guys, I made a few more people that I know, pretty well through these months. They're always over here at mods. So, and I'll probably make some more mods in a week or two, depending on how many are in here. So, oh. Okay, did you guys hear that? I forgot the music was going, even though I could hear it. Good grief. I said that I went over and I made a few more people mods. So and these are people that I know on Messenger like pretty well. We talk almost every day, and some that are just always over here to support me. So an intro. I don't even know what an intro is. I mean, I don't know what an intro is. I mean, I know what an intro means, but I don't really know, like, okay. Can you guys hear me now? His name is Robert Card, 22 dead. Okay, what happened? Her name or his name? Thank you, sweet misery. Yeah, so I just made 3 more people mods. There was only one in here during the time. And and I don't want her to feel like she lives in Italy, right? Maybe she's getting tired and wants to go to bed. Her hours are different. I don't want her to ever feel like, you know what I mean? She has to be here to mod or something. All right. Okay, this is really bad. So the shooter's still on the loose. I don't think it's going to be for long. And he might go off somewhere and kill him, unalive himself. You never know, right? He might do more damage though somewhere and unalive himself. I just don't know. There you go. Suspect served in military as a firearms instructor. He was a firearms instructor. Wow, they've identified him, you guys, by 11 p.m. Eastern time, I guess. So within an hour of the shooting, he was identified. Police in Maine have identified the suspected shooter. According to multiple law enforcement sources, the suspect has a history of military service and is a firearms instructor. The sources said he also has a mental health history, including a 2-week stay this summer at a mental health facility after he allegedly made threats about carrying out a shooting at a National Guard facility. Oh my gosh, you guys. Authorities have traced the suspect's white Subaru to a location in Lisbon. I think it's pronounced Lisbon, but maybe it's Lisbon. It's probably Lisbon, actually. Anyway, this is his car, which we've already seen a picture of it. A lot of you probably have, but I didn't know he would like leave the door open and all. I thought maybe someone got shot inside that car when I saw it earlier. Yeah. Oh, hi, Cloudy Mother Chucker. Yeah, his name's Robert Card. 22 dead, you guys. That's a lot. Well, one is a lot, right? Oh, really? I just read there were kids at the bowling alley having a birthday party. Oh, you guys. I know, that's what I did with my kids. I remember bringing Parker to the bowling alley with about 9 of his friends. With him, it was 10. When he was, how old was he? 5 or 6? and then my daughter later on. Megan, I need your PY. PayPal? No. Oh, there it is, PayPal. Okay, I'll type it in. And I wanted to thank, and maybe she'll hear it as she's reading back, or I mean watching this video, to Shannon Perez. Thank you, sweetheart, for the PayPal money. That was really nice, and that'll buy me litter, cat food, you know, those extra things that I need. I need a litter almost every darn week. Either a small or a big one to last a week and a half. I got so many cats now. Kittens aren't using the litter box yet, but they will be. All right. Let me type this in at there it is. There it is. Is Lloyd Boston still in here? I made him a mod because he's always such a great supporter. Maybe he's not comfortable being a mod. I don't see him in here now. Maybe he had to leave, or but if you're not comfortable being a mod, you certainly don't have to be one. I probably should ask first, but I don't know. Okay, pin it at the top of chat. Hi, stars. I don't know how to do it. Now, I've looked at 2 different videos. It sounds really dumb. It says you go in to YouTube Studio, which on my iPad is black screen with color and all this. Then you go to a menu setting and you go down to something or other. Now I can't remember. Anyway, you go down to something, you hit on that. And what happens when I do that is like taking a poll, right? You know, Jimmy and Dumplin and people have had polls on their thing, the number polls and whatever. And so in the past, I've typed it in there and then I've pinned it. I tried to do that the other day. I couldn't even find that. Because the thing is, like it's a sequential steps to things, and they're all different. They're all different. And besides not being, tech savvy at all, having this darn short-term memory loss, you know, you miss one step, then you're screwed. Hey, hi, don't mess with me at all. Hi. Hi, Demetrius. So click on the comment and click pin. Okay. Okay, I'm clicking on the comment. Oops, wait. Star, put user in timeout. See, okay, hold on. Click on the comment. I think I'm supposed to click on it twice. Wait. It just says put user in timeout where the 3 dots are. Star, comment, ban user and delete their comments. See? It's just so ridiculous. But I did write something down. Demetrius, there's a gosh darn shooting in Maine. Did you hear? 22 dead. That could go up, you guys. People are in the hospital. And the shooter's on the loose. Oh, good for you. Yeah, is that the name of the name of his channel, you guys? If you'd please go over and sub to him. He works really hard. Don't mess with me at all. This is Demetrius, who I helped with the oxygen machine. Do you want to put your link in chat? Don't mess with me at all? Or is that it? Is it at don't mess with me at all? Put your link in chat. Don't mess with me at all. Yes. You have to open your live in a different window. Oh, yeah, you're right. I have to go into the studio, YouTube studio, and click on it like that. Instead of doing it right now, I think I'll just, I'm trying to think. What if I went to, oh, thank you, sweet misery. What if I went to YouTube Studio Live, like where I just made people some mods, and I hit my name on the 3 dots over there twice. Maybe, where did I even gosh darn write this stuff? I mean, I have so many notes you wouldn't even believe. Oh. See? Is this the coolest? I got this from Maggie in the UK along with a matching book. Crime scene, do not cross. Investigation notes. I love it. Yeah. And everyone knows before you even time someone out, you know, at all, even one time, put the stop signs in and let me know. I want to be in control of my channel as long as I can be. All right. I'm going to play another tune, a little more upbeat, and I'll be right back. Don't mess with me at all. I wish I was a mod. Yeah, the only way I can make you one is when you're in chat and you're here. So I was going to go over just now and surprise you, but it's not a surprise anymore. So don't leave, Demetrius. He asked me to be a mod if he could be way back. And that's when I said I'm not having mods, right? But it looks like I am now. All right, let me put on an upbeat tune. Stay in chat. Don't mess with me at all, or Demetrius, okay? And which one should we hear? This one was really kind of cool. Oh, it's kind of sad. It's too sad. That one's kind of sad. Let me play this one. This one was cool. Yeah, that's kind of depressing too. Oh dear. I'll play this one. Kind of country-ish. All right, I'll be right back.
29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me good? All right, so I called them both. Neither of them answered. But Jamie Peace, who also lives in Maine, I don't know where in Maine. Oh, I used to know, I can't remember. She's aware of it because she sent me pictures and said, oh my God, and 50 to 60 hurt and 22 dead and this and that. And I think Rose is asleep, possibly. And I said, you're going to wake up to hearing about this. I'm doing a live. We're all in chat. People care about you. People care about you and are, want to make sure you're okay and all of that. So, boy. Oh, you're right. An hour and a half away. See, I forgot that already. She's an hour and a half away. Okay, good. Thank you, Art. You guys can hear me good? Okay. It's so quiet in here. The cats are all nestled asleep. My kids are all quiet on their headphones and playing their games, and I don't have a fan going. I got some nice heat right here. Okay, so what? Oh. Yeah. Rose lives further away. Oh, Katie's in Maine? Katie, you're in Maine, I'm thinking. It's Demetrius Pink Band. Yeah, that's Demetrius, you guys, with a new name. Thank you for subbing up. I can't remember who now. Was it you, Donna Clark, that said you subbed up at Demetrius's, what's the name of it again? I just read it 10 million times. Don't Mess With Me at All channel. That's very nice. Okay, let me take this off. Let's see if there's any more recent updates or whatever. "58 minutes, 45 minutes. ABC News, watch live." This is Bangor Daily News. So Bangor, Bangor, Maine. Good grief. Okay. So they're waiting to go live. Okay, this. Wow. So I guess I'll read a little bit of these details. It literally almost looks like it's kind of in the country-ish to me, where this bowling alley is. You know, I mean, to me that looks kind of country-ish, but what do I know? I mean, wait, those are telephone poles, some trees. I'm assuming that's the bowling alley. Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah. Lloyd Boston, are you happy I made you a mod? If you don't want to be one, or you think it's, I mean, everyone's checking with me first anyway. It's just you're a really good supporter. You're always over here. You're always in Jimmy's. You're in Team Rose's. Maine News Center is live. Okay, Maine News Center is live. The Maine News Center. Do I type that in? I just wanted to read this. Melinda Small, the owner of Legend Sports Bar and Grill, said her staff immediately locked their doors and moved all 25 customers and employees away from the doors after a customer reported hearing about the shooting at the bowling alley less than a quarter mile away around 7 p.m. Soon the police flooded the roadway and the police officer eventually escorted everyone out of the building 4 at a time. Everyone in the bar is safe. Okay. That's the city here? No, I know Lewiston is a city. Oh, Maine News Center is live. Well, do I type in that on YouTube? Maine News. Is it going to come up under Maine News? Come on. This reminds me a little bit of, remember you guys, when Jimmy was live, on Dolly Vision, and his daughter called and said she was at the mall, and I mean, a little bit, and he had to go, and she was at the mall at work or something, and that there was a shooter in there. It's like, we're on YouTube and there's another shooting. It's like, okay, Maine News Center.
MMC can confirm it will receive one patient transport from Central Maine Medical Center. Other Maine health facilities are also standing by and preparing to provide care. Out of an abundance of caution and due to the dynamic nature of the situation,
You live in New
MMC
Hampshire,
and other
Katie.
Maine health hospitals have closed their campuses to non-health personnel and non-patients until further notice. Maine Health and Maine Medical Center expressed deepest sympathies to those impacted by this tragedy. And we know that Maine Medical Center in Portland is also on alert, and they have said that they have created a critical care and operating room capacity in anticipation of potential transports coming from the Lewiston shooting. Right now, let's go to the latest report from Jared Hill.
Authorities say multiple people were killed in a mass shooting Wednesday night in Lewiston, Maine, about 40 minutes north of Portland.
At approximately 6:56 this evening, a couple of shooting incidents occurred here with multiple casualties in the city of Lewiston.
Police released photos showing a suspected gunman walking into an establishment with a weapon raised to his shoulder.
And police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card. Card is considered armed and dangerous. He is a person of interest, however, and that's what we'll label him at moving forward.
I'm trying to make it bigger. Forget it. I'll just...
Until that changes.
Authorities ordered residents in the state's second largest city to shelter in place, saying there was an active shooter reported in multiple locations.
This is an overwhelming situation. I don't think we've ever had anything like this.
In a Facebook post, Lewiston police said that they were dealing with an incident at a bar as well as a bowling alley. Law enforcement told residents to stay off the roads to allow emergency responders access to the hospitals. Central Maine Medical Center said on its website that the staff were, quote, reacting to a mass casualty, mass shooter event, and were coordinating with area hospitals to take in patients. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And again, you're looking at a picture of Robert Card, who police are actively looking for right now. He is considered to be armed and dangerous and is a person of interest in the mass shooting that happened in Lewiston earlier tonight. Marlia, it's just, we've been here for several hours now reporting. We started our report a little before 11 to bring you the latest from this developing nightmare. I'm just going to say it, it's a developing nightmare. And just thinking of all the people who are affected, Mainers, we heard the mayor of Auburn earlier saying that, Mainers come together. And this is just another example of Mainers coming together for each other in a horrific situation. Yeah, and we're talking about it affecting a lot of different towns. It's not just Lewiston being affected, because now we have searches in Lisbon, the shelter or the re-verification center in Auburn. We're having multiple towns. Portland is offering aid. Different police, emergency responders are coming from different locations to support Lewiston, because that's what happens in the state. We have national support. We have support from President Joe Biden, who spoke with lawmakers saying that they're going to offer full federal support in the wake of this event. So Maine does have support right now, and people are trying their best to work together to kind of make this situation a little bit closer to ending, because it's been so long now. We're on 3-4 hours in. It has been hours that we've been dealing with this tonight, and watching, law enforcement come together.
Exactly,
in the beginning,
Barbara
just hoping
Smith.
that this was a hoax, hoping this was a rumor, hoping that this was something that had started, from false reports, and it's been the opposite of that. This is a very real situation that law enforcement, first responders, emergency personnel, hospital staff are dealing with tonight. People who live in Androscoggin County, they are sheltering in place tonight because Robert Card should be considered armed and dangerous, as you see here. We saw some images that were released in the early times after this was reported, after people started learning about this. I saw many scanner pages on social media, pages that follow scanner traffic, sharing information that they were hearing. Not long after that, Androscoggin County Sheriff's Office posting this photo on their Facebook page to get out to the two residents, Lewiston Police sharing those other angles, and then not long ago, officials released this picture of Robert Card, the 40-year-old from Saco, who is considered to be armed and dangerous. Police say that he's a firearms instructor who was recently treated at a mental health facility, who is the person of interest tonight. Lewiston City Councilor Robert McCarthy spoke with us a little bit earlier tonight. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
The two hospitals have called in every off-duty staff member that they could to deal with this. We are a town of about 39,000. Our hospitals are not geared to handle this kind of shooting event, and they're doing the best we can.
Doing the best they can. Here's some more video tonight that was near the hospital where they're doing the best they can tonight. Can't imagine what that must be like there for them as they continue to deal with this, as they continue to treat victims there. We do not have a clear number of people who have died. We do not have a clear number of people who were injured. From earlier reports, we know we can expect that there have been dozens injured. Officials saying a little bit ago that they cannot confirm a number because this is a fluid situation, and that they just that they can't do that. So you can see this video right here of outside the hospital as they just first responders there, ambulances, EMS workers, law enforcement, hospital staff working to treat the victims tonight. We're still learning more about what happened tonight. That remains unclear of why this happened, of who was involved. But we were told that we would learn more as it can be confirmed. Social media is full of people right now sharing just emotional posts of heartbreak, heart-wrenching emotional posts right now. An earlier post from someone I want to share. He said, "I live less than a mile from Schmengi's. I was coming home from the gym around 6:50 p.m. and heard what I immediately thought to be fireworks. Little did I know I was hearing rapid gunfire. Living and growing up in Maine, I rarely ever locked the doors or assumed the worst. It's crazy to think I was listening to people die without knowing it. My heart goes out to the families." And I think that goes for so many Mainers. So many Mainers. We might not lock our doors. We might not lock our doors ever. And because it is Maine, it is a safe place. You just don't assume the worst. You assume it would be something like fireworks. And it is absolutely gut-wrenching to know that it was not fireworks. It was gunshots tonight. We don't know.
I didn't get the stories
about the victims yet.
I don't have you on Facebook, Lloyd.
That's headed to the area, who will have a live
or are you
report
talking
for
to
us
someone else?
as soon as they can, and we will, Marlia, continue to bring new information throughout the morning, throughout the day, and the coming days.
Yeah, it's like you said, you never expect it to happen. And then it does, and it feels like we're talking about something from a different place.
Absolutely.
It doesn't feel like we're talking about Maine right now.
About Lewiston, Maine, about
Hi, Pam.
Lisbon, where they're looking for the Lisbon Police Department, and we saw live reports where helicopters are searching.
Hi,
police
Michael
are searching
Blade.
for the suspect, where they found the car that they believe was to be involved in this situation, where they are looking for Robert Card, who is the 40-year-old considered to be armed and dangerous tonight. It's Just
Hi, Cameron Finch.
really, there is no word to express the feeling tonight. You know, words like heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, horrific, nightmare, those don't seem to cover what, you know, people are, what I'm feeling tonight, what you're feeling tonight, what people all over Maine are feeling. I should say this morning, from last night to this morning, just a surreal nightmare that's unfolding. We did hear from the Auburn mayor, Jason Levesque, a little bit ago.
This talking right here is a news reporter in
location
Maine.
at the Auburn Middle School. Let's take a listen to his.
Unless she's a reporter in Maine and I didn't know.
And had a lot of friends and family that were around this, and I just met a couple of them that I didn't know were involved. We're at the reunification site right now. Glad to see a lot of people coming, picking up their loved ones that were witnesses and actually at this event, and talking with them. And my heart and prayers, and I think all of ours in this whole area, and the whole state, frankly, are going after them right now so they can get a speedy recovery.
What were you hearing from the people in there?
Going on with people that were actually witnesses.
Another
Obviously,
shooting.
when I was bringing people in that were looking for their loved ones, there's fear, there's panic. Of course, there's worry, understandable. And but the people that were actually there tonight was what I didn't hear. It's they just it's shock. It's shock. It's hard for me to explain. And yeah, and I want them to be able to go home and hold their families and go to sleep, wake up, and
Jamie Peace lives in Maine. 22 dead so far, 50 to 60 injured. And the shooter
we actually brought them to
is a
holding areas so we
former
can interview them,
military
clear
guy
them, and then we wanted to bring them
instructor
all
of
over here
firearms with a
so they can have what we call
M16
reunification
or
process with their
whatever.
loved ones, which is the
They
proper
haven't
way to do
found
it.
him
We
yet,
wanted to make
so
sure that evidence can be gathered and the proper protocol can
everyone's
be
in
followed.
lockdown.
About the different ages of the
Are you? All right, sweetie.
Yes.
No, because then they might
It's
not
all
be able
ages.
to hear the
It was all
news.
ages. I just talked to some teenagers,
Love you, huh?
and it was all ages.
And what can you say about the
You
law
found it?
enforcement officers working this very serious
Where?
situation?
It's unbelievable. That's literally unbelievable. We have our entire force out here right now for the city of Auburn, plus Lewiston County, state.
Wow,
Everybody's here. That's one thing about Maine. If you're not from Maine, you won't understand it. But when
let's
someone's in
keep it
need,
in
everybody
here.
comes, and everybody is coming to this. I've
Are
got
you gonna
Poland
put it in the
volunteer
same
rescue
spot, the
in the
pink
back,
book?
helping people in case they need it.
All
I mean, this
right,
is an all
that's
hands on deck
wonderful.
situation. So yeah, you can train for this, but you can never be completely prepared. But I've been talking to a lot of our officers tonight, and that we all should be proud of them.
And that support from just beyond the region, beyond.
Oh. Well,
Yeah, I
Cameron.
mean, I've gotten a lot of phone calls from around the country, text messages out
Yeah,
from
Luna,
folks, and
Katie,
everybody knows about this. Obviously, made
Katie
national
of
news.
New Hampshire said
But at
she's
this
an
point,
hour and a
we're
half
gonna really
away.
focus inside of our community. We're going to heal our community.
Roses.
We're going to persevere. We're going to get through this.
Jamie
and there's no
Peace,
time
I'm
not
not
to.
sure how
So,
close she is.
It will take a while. You know, something like this doesn't just get solved overnight.
I
Nobody
tried
can expect
calling
it to.
Rose, she didn't
But
answer.
we got a really strong community. We've overcome a lot, and we'll overcome this.
Yeah, and Jamie Peace is aware of what's going on because when I checked in, she sent me information on it.
This is a happier place
And
right
I said,
now.
call
And
me
the
when you
entire
get the
area.
chance.
This is a reunification center where people, witnesses saw traumatic events are coming together with their family and loved ones who were worried to death about them, and they're coming together. So it is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're
Hi,
going to go
Kate
to
Marie.
a live report from James Corrigan.
We also talked to somebody who was trying to get in. We talked to somebody who was just looking to get something to eat or drink, just late at night.
Okay.
Something to eat or drink.
Thanks for coming over. You rock too, Demetrius.
That shelter in place, and of course,
Get some good rest. We'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
those that are inside this hospital right now, and of course,
All right.
at St.
We love
Mary's
you
at
too.
Maine Med, where we know some victims.
Good night. Don't mess with me at all. / Demetrius. Please sub up to his channel, you guys. He's trying to get 30. Wait, you have 30 subs? Put your link in before you leave. Don't mess with me at all if you want to.
Just walk out of the hospital just a few minutes ago and get into her car. Wanting to, we tried to talk to her. It was certainly understandable to not be able to after such a long and frankly such a harrowing day for here at Central Maine Medical and for everybody here in the city of Lewiston.
All right, James, with that report, we appreciate you weighing in.
And that was James Corr again reporting for us there. You know, as he said, just, you know, agonizing day for the hospital staff, for the state. Susan Collins, Senator Susan Collins, tweeted not too long ago saying, as our state mourns this horrific mass shooting, we appreciate the support we've received across the country, including a call I received from President Biden offering assistance.
Wow.
We did tell you earlier that we did hear per the White House that President Biden is offering federal aid as we continue to deal with this mass shooting that happened in Lewiston last night. And right now, again, unclear the number of casualties, the number of victims. We do know that the shootings happened at two places. We do know that a bowling alley and the bar. We have seen these pictures, shared these pictures with you if you're just joining us. These were pictures from the just-in-time bowling alley.
Oh, nice, sweet Misery. Thank you for doing that.
Was released by
Yeah.
Androscoggin County Sheriff's Office and Lewiston Police. There's another angle there. And then later we heard from officials that they are looking for 40-year-old Robert Card, considered to be armed and dangerous. Lisbon is where it seems police are concentrating their search. That's because they found a car believed to be of interest in the shootings. This is also a car that they shared pictures of. Lewiston Police shared pictures of early on in the evening, early on after this happened.
This started a little before 7 p.m.
Lisbon, but we can confirm that a car
This is what the news said.
to Card was found in Lisbon. We've seen live reports
6 hours ago.
Not long ago.
In 20 minutes.
Of police there, a heavy police presence, police helicopters flying. I have to remember that we are in the morning hours now of this. And we were saying tonight, earlier this evening, was last night, actually.
We do have 2 reporters on the scene in Lisbon, and they will be going live soon. We have had multiple live shots, but we will have new ones coming shortly. They are setting up right now and getting ready to show us what they are seeing in this very moment.
Oh my gosh.
Right now you can see the police walking around on a manhunt. This has been going on for quite some time now, and police and emergency response people are working diligently to find the
they'll find him unless he goes off in the woods and unalives himself, and they find him way later on.
Yes, our reporter,
you know, 4 hour time, Tina.
And photojournalist are in the Lisbon area.
Oh, you're right.
We'll have a live report from
yes,
them as soon
4
as
hour
they
time. You're in Arizona. I'm in
up
Washington.
and running there, but right now you're looking at
4 hour time.
Video.
Jeez.
That is just looks out of place in Maine. It looks out of place in to be happening in Maine, and it's part of the nightmare
League
that has
night,
been
usual
continuing
starting
to
time.
unfold for hours now after we first learned of a mass shooting in Lewiston at 2 confirmed locations. 2 confirmed locations that we know of. Rumors of more locations, but we don't know if those are confirmed right now. We know that the bowling alley in Lewiston's just in time. And we also know that Schmeggy's, a bar and lounge in Lewiston, were where multiple people were shot. Again, that number is unclear. Public Safety Director Michael Soschuk did hold a press conference earlier and said that it's unclear, that he cannot give a hard number, a clear number of people who have been killed or injured, because this is a fluid situation and they are still hospitals, hospital staff, first responders, EMS workers. They're all working in different ways right now tonight, just to think of the spectrum of work that's being done from helping victims, counseling loved ones at the reunification location in Auburn, to police searching for Robert Card tonight, to police working to keep Androscoggin County safe for people who are sheltering at home, and people who are working in hospitals, as you can see right here, hospital staff working so hard to treat victims tonight. You can see police there, you can see doctors, nurses, medical staff, EMS in a nightmare situation. We heard earlier from the Lewiston mayor, or the Auburn mayor, that you can prepare for a situation like this
on Messenger.
but until it happens, you just don't know how it's.
I don't have you though on
and we do
Facebook
know
or Messenger.
on emergency training.
You could type in the stories here, Lloyd.
Crisis situations. We've seen different mock crisis.
Type in the name of the stories, Lloyd, in here, and I'll jot them down in my notebook.
First responders, emergency management personnel, emergency personnel that they, different.
Apparently, Luna, there was a birthday party going on. Somebody typed that in chat at the bowling alley.
Of a crisis, of a major crisis like this, but to have it actually happen is a whole nother story, and that's what we're watching unfold in the early morning hours.
It's one of those things where you can physically prepare and you can mentally prepare, but you can't emotionally prepare yourself for this type of thing.
Right.
Which we've seen a lot of emotional statements today on social media from the mayor of Auburn. Very emotional talk that he had, and it's like we have all these things in place to try to make this as smooth as possible and prevent things like this from happening, but in the end of the day they do happen, and you can't really prepare, especially like you were saying in Maine, like just a place where you don't think it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And then it does, and it hurts a lot of people, and it's a very tragic thing that's happening, but people are doing the best they can. We've had reports of helicopters in the skies, people on the ground searching by foot, people in their cars searching and trying to put an end to this. And like you said, medical care, giving everything they have. Multiple hospitals, even not just the ones in that direct area, are giving a hand to support these people.
Absolutely. And if I went on social media for a moment and was just felt a wave of emotion, had to hold back tears just seeing people responding to what has gone on last night into today. It is emotional, a nightmare, and and surreal. It's unbelievable. As the the Auburn mayor said, why don't we go back to that interview that he had at the middle school, the Auburn Middle School, where they're holding that reunification location. Let's take a listen to him right now.
Community, and had a lot of friends and family that were around this, and I just met a couple of them that I didn't know were involved. We're at the reunification site right now. Glad to see a lot of people coming, picking up their loved ones that were witnesses and actually at this event, and talking with them.
Nice tattooed angel.
My heart and prayers, and I think all of ours in this whole area, in the whole state, frankly, are going after them right now so they can get a speedy recovery.
What were you hearing from the people in there?
This is all live in Maine.
What I wasn't hearing. I mean, at this point, this is a significant amount of shock going on with people.
What is it, Lisbon?
Obviously, when I was bringing people in that were looking for their loved ones, there's fear, there's panic. Of course,
the shooter's still on the loose.
But the people that were actually there tonight was what I didn't hear. It's shock. It's shock. It's hard for me to explain. And and I want them to be able to go home and hold their families and go to sleep and wake up and cope with tomorrow.
By bus.
Say again?
Who is it that's arriving by bus?
So what we did is we took the witnesses of the two locations. We actually brought them to holding areas so we could interview them, clear them, and then we wanted to bring them all over here so they can have what we call a reunification process with their loved ones, which is the proper way to do it. We wanted to make sure that evidence could be gathered and the proper protocol could be followed.
Can you talk to us about the different ages of the witnesses? Were there kids that witnessed this?
Yes. It's all ages. It was all ages. I just talked to some teenagers, and it was all ages.
And what can you say about the law enforcement officers working this very serious situation?
It's unbelievable. That's literally unbelievable. We have our entire force out here right now for the city of Auburn, plus Lewiston, county, state. Everybody's here. That's one thing about Maine. And if you're not from Maine, you won't understand it. But when someone's in need, everybody comes, and everybody has come to this. I've got Poland Volunteer Rescue in the back helping people in case they need it. I mean, this is an all hands on deck situation. You can train for this, but you can never be completely prepared. But I've been talking to a lot of our officers tonight, and that we all should be proud of them.
And that support from just beyond the region, beyond Maine, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of phone calls from around the country, text messages out from folks, and everybody knows about this. Obviously, it made national news. But at this point, we're going to really focus inside of our community. We're going to heal our community. We're going to persevere. We're going to get through this. And there's no time not to. So it will take a while. Something like this doesn't just get solved overnight. Nobody can expect it to. But we got a really strong community. We've overcome a lot, and we'll overcome this.
Jason, what's the scene like there right now?
There?
Yeah.
Right now, we're going to go to Alyssa Thurlow, who is reporting live in Lisbon. Alyssa, what can you tell us right now?
Hi, Morgan. We just got into Lisbon here just a few minutes ago. We're at the intersection of Route 9. There is a very heavy police presence. I'm going to step out of the way just so you can kind of see how much police are in town right now. There's a long line of police cars heading that way. There's just been a lot of action of law enforcement since we've been in town in the last 10 to 15 minutes now. There is a helicopter. I don't know if you can hear, but there is a helicopter that is surrounding Lisbon High School right now that has just been circling the area ever since we have been here.
Oh, you did, Tattooed Angel?
That was Alyssa Thurlow reporting. Her and photojournalist Mark Redeker have just gotten to the scene there, Lisbon High School. You can see that area. We'll try to go back to her in just a little bit.
I just got some cucumber for the guinea pig.
We're going to head there right now. Are we going to take her right now? Try again. Okay, we're going to wait a few minutes there. But you could see such a tense situation there in Lisbon.
I think he's close, Sweet Misery, because his car is still parked somewhere else, unless he jumped in someone's vehicle.
Lovely people. I can't imagine what that must be like for them right now. Just
that's what I think.
Would never imagine happening, in that town, in so many of these Maine towns, in every Maine town.
Even in the scene that she's showing us, those police cars almost look out of place.
They do.
Like it looks like such a peaceful, calm area, and then there's a mass amount of police vehicles and lights going off, and it just doesn't fit the scene.
Right. So again, that was Alyssa Thurlow. Oh, she's back now. We're going to toss to her now, Alyssa.
Yeah, hi guys. Sorry about that. We're just got into town. Connection's a little bit spotty, but as I was saying, we just got here about 15 minutes ago, and there's just constant law enforcement going back and forth here. We're staged right outside of Lisbon High School. There's been a helicopter above us just circling the area ever since we have gotten into town. We are at the intersection of 196 Route 9 here in Lisbon. Again, law enforcement actively searching for the person in connection with the Lewiston shootings, 40-year-old Robert Card. Again, so if you live in the Lisbon area, you are asked to shelter in place anywhere here. Actually, in Androscoggin County, police are asking people to stay in their homes and stay safe. Again, just a very active scene here in Lisbon. We will keep you updated as soon as we learn more information from law enforcement. But again, a very active scene here in Lisbon. We are actually met in town by law enforcement in full tactical gear. We have seen sheriffs here, state police, just a massive amount of law enforcement. And obviously that helicopter is still circling in the distance, circling this area here in Lisbon. So again, we will keep you updated on social media as we learn more and on air. Morgan, back to you.
All right, that's Alyssa Thurlow. We're watching her live there in Lisbon right now, where law enforcement is actively looking for the person of interest, the photo that they released, 40-year-old Robert Card. Let's take a look at that picture again. People may be joining us now. We can take a look at that picture of 40-year-old Robert Card. He should be considered armed and dangerous. People are sheltering in place in Androscoggin County, including Lisbon. Lisbon PD releasing this statement just a little bit ago, saying that they know that many are aware of the situation that is happening there tonight. They're fully aware, saying that they are keeping an eye on the situation, and obviously they are working hard, keeping an eye on keeping us informed. Going back to Lisbon right now, as you can see, so this is a live look at police. Schools have been canceled for tomorrow. They are canceled for in Lewiston, in Auburn. Auburn Middle School is actually the reunification location for victims' families. We heard from the Auburn mayor a little bit ago about this unbelievable situation tonight. Hopefully we can get that connection stable for us to see. But Marley, we just saw a surreal situation, a situation of helicopters, of police on a manhunt right now for this person of interest.
Yeah, and we, as they said, like they were greeted while pulling in. Mm-hmm. It's a very intense situation that they're dealing with, and that the whole state is dealing with. They're searching for Robert Card, who is the person of interest in the shooting. He is claimed to be armed and dangerous, and we are going to go to Terry, who is live.
Terry, pick up where you left off.
Megan, good morning. Thank you. This has been a very long night and now a long morning for these families. Within the last 60 minutes, 90 minutes or so, we saw it was a bus. It was a city bus that brought witnesses who were at a secure location after these events. They were interviewed by law enforcement and then brought to Auburn Middle School, which is the reunification point. And for their loved ones who came here and picked them up, many of them embracing a lot of relief. But we did have to ask the difficult question of Auburn Mayor Jason Levesque, because when you think about reunification points and the way that these tools have been used in the aftermath of other devastating mass shootings across the country, these are the locations where often family members.
I'm here. I just had to use the restroom, getting some pretzels for us.
Mayor Levesque
or
told us
my
that
kids.
at least in one instance here, that someone learned that their loved one had died, that they were one of the at least 20 people now confirmed dead from these two shootings. Megan, you mentioned it a couple of minutes ago, but there are grief counselors here. Mayor Levesque said that the middle school here is going to be utilized as a reunification. They're calling it the reunification center now, but that the resources that are available here will remain open for as long as it takes. And with school canceled for tomorrow, at least, this may be a resource that other community members need to tap into. John, Megan.
All right, Terry, go to Jared. So that was Terry Stackhouse, who was reporting live tonight, talking about that heart-wrenching interview that we heard from the Auburn mayor a little bit earlier, who was at the high school. We actually saw video of people. One person was on crutches, people holding one another, dealing with this nightmare that has been unfolding. Right now, let's go ahead and take a look at Jared Hill's latest report.
Authorities say multiple people were killed in a mass shooting Wednesday night in Lewiston, Maine, about 40 minutes north of Portland.
At approximately 6:56 this evening, a couple of shooting incidents occurred here with multiple casualties in the city of Lewiston.
Police released photos showing a suspected gunman walking into an establishment with a weapon raised to his shoulder.
And police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card. Card is considered armed and dangerous. He is a person of interest, however, and that's what we'll label him at moving forward until that changes.
Authorities ordered residents in the state's second largest city to shelter in place, saying there was an active shooter reported in multiple locations.
This is an overwhelming situation. I don't think we've ever had anything like this.
In a Facebook post, Lewiston police said that they were dealing with an incident at a bar as well as a bowling alley. Law enforcement told residents to stay off the roads to allow emergency responders access to the hospitals. Central Maine Medical Center said on its website that the staff were, quote, reacting to a mass casualty, mass shooter event, and were coordinating with area hospitals to take in patients. Jared Hill, CBS News.
We're going to check back in with Alyssa Thurlow and Mark Redeker in Lisbon now.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Still a very active scene here in Lisbon. We are at the intersection of Route 9, 196, right outside of Lisbon High School. As you can see, heavy law enforcement presence behind me here. We've seen sheriffs, we've seen Maine State Police in tactical gear. We were met with a few as we were coming into town, asking them where they would like us to go, which is a safe area. And they've just been going constant back and forth here at this intersection and seem to be staged here in this business district.
Did not hide his identity, so I do believe he unalived
much of a law enforcement presence there is here in town. Again, intersection of Route 9, 196, right outside of Lisbon High School. You know, residents here being asked to shelter.
Hey, Lloyd, I'm writing it down.
We were seeing a helicopter. I can still see it in the distance here. We're going to try and show you that now. That has been circling the area for quite some time now as police continue to look for the man in connection, they believe is in connection with the Lewiston shootings, 40-year-old Robert Card. Again, heavy police presence here in Lisbon. We will continue to update you with more information as it's released. We ourselves are trying to stay as safe as possible.
Is that the only one, Lloyd?
As soon as we hear more information from law enforcement here in Lisbon, we will give it to you. Guys, back to you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Alyssa Thurlow.
You said there were two.
In Lisbon right now.
What, he is dead? Is he dead? We don't know.
Throughout the morning and the day to bring us the latest information. Again, if you're joining us right now, breaking news headline, I can't even believe to be reading a mass shooting in Lewiston Wednesday night. We've been here since a little before 11 o'clock last night, reporting, bringing you the latest information, the most up-to-date information. We've heard from officials who have said they cannot confirm the number of fatalities associated with this shooting at two locations in Lewiston, one at a bowling alley, another at a bar and lounge. They cannot confirm the number of deaths and the number of injuries, but we know dozens of people are injured. And they are looking for this man you see here, this is the person of interest, 40-year-old Robert Card, should be considered armed and dangerous, and right now he is still at large. Police are still looking for them, as we just saw in Alyssa's report, and police are in the Lisbon area. They said earlier that it was confirmed that a car was found there. Lewiston police released a photo of a white car of interest on social media earlier tonight. And then we were told by officials during a press conference that that car was located in Lisbon. This is actually live video from Lisbon right now, where you can see law enforcement circling around a white car. We don't know if this is that white car in question that we just showed you a picture of, but right now this is live right now happening in Lisbon. You can see law enforcement there with flashlights. And we can go to James Corrigan, who has a live report for us now as well.
being affected, but we've gotten a bit of a look at some of those people. We're right outside of the entrance to the emergency room here. You can see some of the law enforcement personnel still guarding the doors, and another one of their functions here is to escort people in and out of the hospital. And a few minutes ago, we saw one law enforcement officer walk a group of 3 people across the street, 2 of them holding hands and looking for which entrance
Thank
to
you,
go
Pink
into. They're
Fan.
waiting in the waiting room here now, and certainly looks of anguish and distress on their faces. We've also seen them escort some of the nurses out of the hospital, nurses who have undoubtedly had a day that they will never forget.
Is that good, Tina?
Never forget.
What, am I munching too loud? I'm leaning back even on my bed. I'm eating a pretzel.
What can be seen outside the
Is
main
that what you
entrance
mean?
of the hospital, a little bit to our left, where guards with long guns have been basically patrolling the premises here throughout the afternoon and throughout the evening. I'm going to show you just one of them right there. Again, that is an armed law enforcement officer.
Welcome, Rose. Hi, Donna Withy.
And walking as if similar that you would see Buckingham Palace.
Please hit the like, you guys. Subscribe if you'd like to. Thank
That's
you.
The kind of level of security that we're seeing here outside of a hospital here in Lewiston. So while things may be a lot calmer here than they had been before, certainly when Terry was here, when the victims were all being transported to Central Maine Medical Center, it's still an eerie sight, still a lot of jarring sights to be seen. And of course, many more to come as the situation unfolds, as we get a clearer picture.
Can you imagine getting shot in the face, you guys?
As you mentioned,
oh my God.
Equate to people and equate to stories.
I mean, anywhere would be bad, but oh
God. We know for sure that a number of those people and a number of those families are sitting right there in that waiting room. We could see a couple of them right there, and it's unimaginable what's going through their minds. And as this all unfolds, of course, we'll get a lot more details, and we'll get a lot more of a sense of who these people are, and we'll certainly hear their stories, we'll learn their stories, and we'll, in all likelihood, grieve with many of them as the numbers continue to come in, and as we learn more about
that pretzel looks funny.
Tragedy that's happened here in Lewiston. John, Megan.
And that was James
It's the
Corrigan
fat, thick
reporting
sourdough
from Central Maine
ones.
Medical Center in Lewiston. Right now, we're going to go back to Alyssa Thurlow, who is live for us in Lisbon. Alyssa.
I had a little bit of rice earlier.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Still about the same situation we left you just a few minutes ago. Heavy police presence here at the intersection of Route 196, Route 9 in Lisbon. We just saw a state trooper circling through the school entrance. We've seen a number of them circling school grounds here. There was a helicopter that was flying ahead, searching in the air. I do not see that in the air at that moment, or at least hear it at this point. Now, Lisbon police did provide residents an update about an hour ago. I'm going to read you that statement that they posted to their Facebook page. They said, as many are aware, there is an active situation ongoing within the town of Lisbon. The matter does involve a search within the town for a suspect believed to have been involved in a multiple shooting incidents in Lewiston. For the time being, residents are asked to shelter in place at their homes or current locations until the area is determined safe. Lisbon schools have been canceled for Thursday. So again, residents here in Lisbon, there's just a neighborhood right across the way where we are staged at the Lisbon High School. Residents are being asked to stay in place. And we will continue to update you with more information as soon as it is made available by law enforcement. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Alyssa Thurlow and photojournalist Mark Redeker, who are there. They left not too long ago to head down to that staging area in Lisbon. And we're learning more information and seeing that heavy police presence as police continue to search for that person of interest. This is video earlier taken in Lewiston Wednesday night. Just surreal images of law enforcement searching. We just saw, James Corrigan showing law enforcement protecting the hospital. You know, something like he said, something that you don't see. An eerie feeling there tonight, and an absolute nightmare, you know, scene here. After a just
it's really scary
incident that happened, situation that happened, the mass shooting at two locations in Lewiston earlier last night, I should say, as we are into the early morning hours now. We are going to stay with you for a little bit longer. We will go to our, in about about 20 minutes or so, we will have our national coverage. Right now, here's live video from Lisbon. We will be here, though, on standby to break into the regularly scheduled programming to provide any information that may come up throughout the hours, though. Marlia.
Yeah, this is a fluid situation. Things are constantly changing. We're learning new information. We have shared the latest, but things will still continue to come into the early hours of this morning.
Does somebody want to Google?
Give that coverage that we can.
Does anyone want to Google how many mall? I mean, this isn't a mall, but it kind of is when it's like a bowling alley and another area, just mall shootings or store, whatever. I mean, there's over 10. Remember, there was the Texas one and this one, and even the Chesapeake, Virginia one, where Jimmy is when his daughter was at work. There was one in Florida not too long ago. I mean, it's just these copycat. Do you guys remember when, like, the first sort of business shooting was a man that walked into a post office, like in the 80s, remember? It was the first business shooting, like, you know, walked in and massacred his coworkers. Remember that? That was really scary because, I mean, maybe it wasn't the first one, but then remember that guy that drove his car into that Texas restaurant where all those, you know, older folks, Lubbies or Luddies, or started with an L. And he went inside and just shot people that were eating. Horrible. Oh, that's okay, Art. That sounds like fun, a field trip. Hey, that was live coverage. Yeah, I mean, we can keep watching it. They're going to keep going back to it. Hey, that was live coverage, LOL. I don't know. Here. We'll just keep. Oops.
Right now, we are showing being sought as a person of interest in Wednesday night shootings in Lewiston. He is to be considered armed and dangerous. If you have any connection to Robert Card, any connection to what happened tonight, you are asked to call police, to contact police. And if you are to see Robert Card, he should be considered armed and dangerous. So again, families, residents, businesses have been sheltering in place in Lisbon and have been sheltering in place throughout Androscoggin County as police continue to search for Card tonight. This is a live look right now of police helicopters circling Lisbon as they continue the manhunt for Robert Card, the person of interest in the mass shooting in Lewiston that happened Wednesday night at two locations just in time, Bowling Alley and Schmeggy's Bar and Lounge.
That's a cute name, Schmeggy's.
Again, Marlia, this is the live look that photojournalist Mark Redeker is providing for us right now.
Yes, this is a live.
It looks like law enforcement is
live out of somewhere in
area.
Maine. I think it's Portland, Maine.
Route 196. I believe they said they're at the intersection of Route 9 and Route 196 near the high school, the Lisbon High School there.
Oh, God, you guys.
And heavy police presence there. As they continue to search for him.
Yeah, and I know Alyssa told us earlier, even just coming into the town, she was stopped, and they're continuing to stop people and just trying to keep the street, just know what's happening on the streets and keep track of everyone that's going through, because they are still searching. There's helicopters in multiple different locations, police in multiple different locations covering Lisbon, Lewiston, and multiple hospitals. We still are unsure of the number of casualties because this is such a fluid situation. Things are constantly changing. We do not have a set number yet or anything happening, but we do know that there has been death and injuries within the area.
Yeah, you're right. A fluid situation. You can see through the trees there, that police helicopter. We did hear from one resident who said that they are sheltering in place with their family. Something unbelievable to them, something unbelievable as they shelter in place with their children, with their loved ones. And just think of the people, throughout Lisbon, Lewiston, Auburn, who are sheltering in place tonight. And now it is this morning. I keep saying tonight because we've been here since earlier tonight, since
Thank
about
you, Pink
a little
Fan.
before 11 o'clock as we get into these morning hours. People are sheltering in place as police continue to look for this suspect. We will stay with you again for the next a little more than about 15 minutes, and then we'll go to our national coverage. But again, we will break in with any new information that we do get. We have our live crew in Lisbon right now. And we're continuing to also get live reports from our media partners, WMTW, as we watch this heartbreaking, gut-wrenching situation unfold here in Maine. We're going to go back to Alyssa here in just a few minutes, but this situation that we've heard from Governor Mills about. I'm sure we'll hear from her again. We've heard from some of our other congressional delegates about this, about the situation. Right now, we're going to go back to Alyssa Thurlow, who's reporting live in Lisbon. Alyssa?
Intersection of Route 9, 196 in Lisbon. Still police presence here. As you have been mentioning, and we've been mentioning all evening, there is a shelter-in-place order here in Lisbon. Lisbon police confirming that this heavy police presence, it does have to do with the search involved with the person believed to be involved with the multiple shooting incidents in Lewiston. And I just want to remind people, obviously there's a heavy police presence here. Media is here as well. We're here as well as our media partners, WMTW, and other sources as well, trying to bring you the latest information. But I have seen what looks to be just some cars driving around the area. Again, there is a shelter in place. Please do not leave your homes unless it's an emergency, okay? Please let law enforcement do their job to the best of their ability. We do want to remind people that Lisbon schools have been canceled for Thursday.
Thank you. Yeah, hit the like,
Lisbon
please.
Police obviously assisting Maine State Police and other agencies in this search for Robert.
I'm sure one of the turtles has let Jimmy know about this.
The helicopter has been circling the area for some time. That helicopter now right above us here at the high school. So it seems that they have many bodies on the ground. They obviously have a crew in the air continuing to look for the person involved. So again, if you are in the area, please shelter in place. Let law enforcement do their job. We will keep you updated on social media and online. Once we have an update, we will update as soon as possible, or I'll send it to you.
All right, Alyssa Thurlow reporting live in Lisbon this morning after this mass shooting happened earlier, several hours ago, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Wanted to let everyone know that from Bates College, they released a statement saying, while we continue to monitor the situation and are in communication with local officials and the Lewiston Police Department with follow-up from this evening's or last night, we could say now, horrific events, it's clear that today has been a devastating day for Lewiston and for Maine. At this time, both the city and the campus remain on lockdown, which will be the case until the restriction is lifted. The safety of our community is our first and highest priority. Bates College, which is located in Lewiston. We know, they also continue to say, we know that these events have shocked and frightened our community, and we grieve for those whose lives were tragically lost in this heinous act of violence. Accordingly, classes scheduled for tomorrow, or today now, Thursday, are canceled. And Marlia, there are several schools that have been canceled in the area.
Yeah, we know that the Lewiston Public Schools will be closed tomorrow, as will a handful of neighboring public schools, Lisbon, and then Central Maine Community College in Lewiston will be closed, and so will the University of Southern Maine, Lewiston. Will all be closed tomorrow.
And we'll keep track of school cancellations, and
Good grief, Pink
we'll be able
fan.
to share those on social media, and we'll be sharing more information throughout the morning hours, throughout the day, the night, tomorrow, and in the coming days as this continues to unfold. Right now we're just in a place where we are waiting.
All in
waiting
just
to hear from law
October.
enforcement again. We heard a brief statement from a brief press conference. It was about 6 minutes long from the public safety director earlier tonight, who wasn't able to provide.
Is this news out of Portland?
Details, was able
Portland,
to say
Maine.
that they did find
I'm
that
thinking.
car.
I don't know.
Find a car connected with the shooting in Lisbon. That's where we're seeing police right now. That's why we're assuming that there's that heavy police presence. That's where they found that car in connection with the shooting. Right now, people continue to shelter in place as police continue to search for search for Robert Card. Let's take a listen to Public Safety Director Michael Soschuk from that press conference last night.
I'm the Commissioner for the Department of Public Safety here in Maine. We truly do appreciate your patience and your partnership as we work with all of our partners across the law enforcement spectrum at all levels, local, state, county, and federal, to address and investigate these violent crimes that occurred in the city of Lewiston this evening. As you know, this is an experienced group. We won't have a lot of Q&A here this evening. This is very fresh. It's new. It's new for all of us. And our focus is on the investigation and getting this right the first time. And we're doing that with our partners. And we do appreciate you putting out information from time to time. Moving forward, we would appreciate it if you got that information from us so that we knew that it was accurate. And that is incredibly important for all of us from an investigative standpoint and from a public safety standpoint, that we have a unified front with this information as we release it. The delay in coming here with you now is simply because we want to confirm information from our end. We want to make sure the information we're giving you and the information that goes out to the general public is accurate. So we do have some information here that we will release. It is here on the podium. And this is a general caution to the public. That approximately 6:56 this evening, a couple of shooting incidents occurred here with multiple casualties in the city of Lewiston. And police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card, 4/4 of 1983 of Bowdoin. Card is considered armed and dangerous. He's a person of interest, however, and that's what we'll label him at moving forward until that changes. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way. The shelter-in-place order that currently stands in Lewiston remains. A vehicle, which was a vehicle of interest in this incident, was located in Lisbon, and we are now also asking residents in Lisbon to shelter in place. So please share that information with communities as well. If anybody sees Mr. Card or has any additional information reference to these 2 shootings in the city of Lewiston, please contact 911. If they see anything suspicious, please feel free to call their local authorities. We have literally hundreds of police officers working around the state of Maine to investigate this case, to locate Mr. Card, who again is a person of interest and a person of interest only. And we'll continue to gather information so that we can bring the suspect to justice and ultimately seek prosecution down the road. This release also includes a photo, which I believe I have seen from various sources. I would also let you know that we have created a reunification location, and that would be at the Auburn Middle School, so in the neighboring community of Auburn, at 38 Falcon Drive. Again, that's the Auburn Middle School. And when I say reunification center or location, what that means is that if somebody has a question or they have a concern, they can't find a loved one, they believe that a friend or a family member may be involved in what occurred here tonight in Lewiston, that they could respond to that location. We will have some of our behavioral health liaisons, counselors on site. And we'll also be providing information as it becomes available to us. As you can imagine, and as you know, there are multiple scenes in the city, to include multiple hospitals, multiple follow-ups, a lot of witnesses we're speaking with, and a lot of leads. The general public has been very cooperative and very forthcoming with information. So I would expect if we have additional information, we'll be happy to come back and share it with you. I know that from the city of Lewiston standpoint, probably going to close City Hall after this briefing and probably move everybody out. But again, we appreciate your partnership and your patience. I would offer to take questions just so you know that I probably won't have answers. And as long as you know that going in, there's no disrespect intended in that. Feel free to ask a couple, and if I think we can get there, then I'm happy to answer those. If not, we do have work to do on behalf of our communities, and that's our primary focus this evening.
Seems like a nice guy.
Specific figures about casualties from out there. The sheriff Sampson told me up as many as 20. I just wanted to give you this opportunity to set the record straight on that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. And I know that there's been a lot of numbers out there. This is a very fluid situation. So the last thing I want to come up is give you a number and then 3 hours from now change that in one direction or another. So I don't have firm numbers on that. And when I do, we'll be happy to share those with you, because it's an important piece of healing and it's an important piece of information for all of us to be aware of. But I don't have a firm number.
But at least 15.
We do have a statement from Susan Collins stating, as our state mourns this horrific mass shooting, we appreciate the support we've received from across the country, including the call I received from President Biden offering assistance. We heard about this assistance earlier. President Biden has offered full funding support for the state of Maine following today's events. Yeah, federal aid to help that he, after he learned what has been unfolding here. And I think something important to note too, which I believe the public safety director touched upon, was, you know, be alert no matter where you are in the state, in the surrounding areas. Just safe to be on alert no matter where you are. I think tonight, especially in Androscoggin County, Lisbon, where that heavy police presence is tonight. But, you know, definitely everyone should be on the lookout in the next coming days, depending on how this unfolds. We only have a few minutes left with you. Marley and I have a few more minutes left with you before CBS Overnight News takes over, but we will break in with more information as it develops. So we do have that crew. Alyssa Thurlow is reporting we'll be reporting live from Lisbon and the surrounding areas. We'll have team coverage throughout the next couple of days. As we learn more information about this absolute nightmare that has been happening since 7 o'clock yesterday in Lewiston. Yeah, it's been a long night going into this morning, and we do know that there are hundreds of police on the ground searching in multiple towns: Lewiston, Lisbon, Auburn. There's hundreds of people searching and doing everything they can. Medical teams are working to take care of people and try to just give assistance and aid to those who need it. So there are people that are working diligently to just aid the community. Yeah, first responders, our hearts go out to them tonight. First responders, emergency personnel, hospital staff, as they help the victims, and grief counselors are on hand at that reunification location at Auburn Middle School. Just an absolute gut-wrenching scenario unfolding. I would imagine in the next day or two, we'll be learning more about the victims and their families. And all I can say is hold your family tight this morning, the next couple of days. Be safe out there. Be alert as we continue to wait for law enforcement to search for Robert Card. We'll pull his photo up one more time to show everyone at home. If you're just joining us, this is the person of interest who is involved, the person of interest in this mass shooting in Lewiston. And we're going to go now in just a few seconds to CBS Overnight, so we will break in with information as it develops.
Ruben Garcia, law professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, joins us to talk more about the many...
Bye, you guys. Goodness gracious. Hi, everyone. We are okay. I am Brad. Talked way too much. It went over 2 hours. Hi, Undercover. Hi, Diana Lopez. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hit the like, please. Subscribe if you haven't, if you want to. So my show was on, very odd and strange disappearances. It's good to bring some coverage of some sort to people that have been missing for 10 years, 15 years, 40 years, whatever, 2 years. I talked about before this situation with the Maine shooting, which I'm sure someone in my chat will let me know if they find the shooter or there's any, updates. They'll let me know. I was tempted to go over and, we could all listen to CNN, but I don't think I better. I think, didn't Jimmy say once CNN tried to get him for, I don't know, like just CNN is in my mind with copying something, or he almost did, or I don't know. Don't quote me on all of this. It was just years ago. But we talked about Brian Shaffer. Very sad story, right? He's was a med student, early 20s, went into a bar and never came out. And it's a well-known case. You guys can watch back my live for anyone that missed that. And that was in 2006. And 3 weeks prior to him going missing, his mother died of cancer. And then, before he was ever found, because obviously he's not found, at some point, I can't remember exactly when, I thought it was a couple months after he disappeared, his father had a freak accident, and a tree or something hit him or hit his car, and he died. And we actually he was talking with a news reporter about, where's my son type deal. It's just really sad. Anyway, this story, thank you, Undercover. Thanks, you guys. Is he? Hi. Oh, is he going? I'm doubting it. I mean, in all honesty, I hope he doesn't. Because if the guy's on the loose and we know he has that kind of rifle, or not rifle, M16 or MA, whatever it is, I mean, sniper shooting activity, he wouldn't be safe. Well, I mean, there's all these cops out, but, I hope he doesn't go all the way up there. I don't think he will. He was going to have Uncensored tonight, 11, 12, 1, 2. That's what he said on his earlier show. But maybe because of this horrific shooting with so many dead, we're not talking just 6 or 12. We're talking 22 dead as of now. And that doesn't mean more people won't pass away in the hospital. I mean, I hate to be. And it's apparently 50 to 60 injured. I mean, that's a lot. Thank you. Yeah, well, 11, 12, 1, 2. It's only 2:15 Eastern time, It's not like 3. He's gone on at 3 before, but yeah. Oh my gosh, now it's getting warm. I've got the heat on so nice and warm. Oh gosh. Okay, so let me know if they have any updates. I've had a live for a good 3 hours already, but I slept all day, so I'm like pretty awake. So this is about a Maura Murray. The disappearance of Maura Murray. It happened in February 2004. It's so long and complicated and baffling we couldn't possibly cover all the details here, but the case has been covered in length by E! News, as well as in a 6-part documentary series and an ongoing podcast with over 60 episodes as of this writing. So there's no shortage of information out there. Here's the short version. 21-year-old nursing student Maura Murray. It's Maura Murray. Murray, right? Emailed her professors at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, that she would be missing class due to a death in her family. This was a lie. She emailed her boyfriend, packed up a bag, took $280 out of an ATM, spent $40 of that at a liquor store, and started driving. I'm not sure I've heard this one. Oh, wow. It's morning. You're in England, right, Pink Fan? Between 7 and 7:30 p.m., Murray skidded off the road into a snowbank where she got stuck. 140 miles north of Amherst and Haverhill, New Hampshire. A school bus driver stopped to ask if she needed help. She said no, but he called 911 anyway. The police arrived 10 minutes later, and in that 10-minute window, Maura Murray vanished from the face of the earth. So she must have gone ahead and either hitched or, right? Gotten in a vehicle with someone. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Okay, this is strange, you guys. She skidded off the road into a snowbank where she got stuck. Within 10 minutes, it says, later on, the police found her textbooks in the car, together with a spilled bottle of wine and a printout of MapQuest directions to Burlington, Vermont. Okay, that's weird. That's where I went to high school. Yeah, I lived there from the age of 14 to 21. No, to 24, 10 years, because I got married the first time when I was 24 to my ex, and then we remarried in 95, but neither marriages worked out. Okay, so you guys, her car shows up. Oh, wait, no, her car didn't show up in Vermont. Okay, they showed up 10 minutes. Her car was there with her spilled bottle of wine, a printout of MapQuest, but there was no wallet, no keys, and no cell phone. Oh, and strangest of all, no footprints in the snow anywhere around the car. Wow. Okay, that's neat. Pig fan Maria G will probably hop in here pretty soon because she's from England and she likes to. Okay, that's just weird, you guys. Who's heard of this story about Maura Murray? I thought someone got her car out of the snowbank within 10 minutes with her in it. She was nowhere to be found. It was in Vermont. I read too quickly, or my brain was. Come on already. This is just stupid. So let's see if there's any updates. Oh, here's a picture of her. That's so sad. Okay, this was in February. There she is. Can you guys see that? Oops. Young girl. I don't know, like people missing and no closure. What? No way. Oops. What? Maura Murray has been found alive. Meridius Temp. It's a YouTube channel. I don't know. 5 years ago. I'm just very skeptical. I don't even know if I want to watch it. What, they're trying to show video of her when she's younger and trying to say she's alive today? That's ridiculous, you guys. I can't believe what people do. You know what I mean? Find video of someone, right? Videos, tapes, whatever, and then say, oh, this is proof she's alive today. Unbelievable. Ooh. There aren't any updates yet, right, of the shooting in Maine. All right, well, watch this one.
Hello, and welcome to Unsolvable. In today's episode, we will be exploring the mysterious disappearance of Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student who vanished without a trace following a car accident in February 2004. If you're ready...
Oh, is he?
Maura
Jimmy's
Murray
going live at the
American
top of the hour. Okay.
on the evening of February 9th, 2004, after a car crash on Route 112 near Woodville, New Hampshire, a village in the town of Haverhill. She was a 21-year-old nursing student completing her junior year at the University of Massachusetts at the time of her disappearance. Maura Murray was born on May 4th, 1982, in Hanson, Massachusetts, the fourth child of Frederick and EeRRIE Murray. She had an older brother, Fred, two older sisters, Kathleen and Julie, and a younger brother, Kurt. Maura was raised in an Irish Catholic household. When she was 6, her parents divorced, after which Maura lived primarily with her mother. In high school, Maura was a star athlete on the school's track team. As such, she was accepted into the United States Military Academy in West Point, New York, where she studied chemical engineering for 3 semesters. After her freshman year, she transferred to the University of Massachusetts to study nursing. On the afternoon of Monday, February 9th, before she left the university campus, she emailed her professor and work supervisor, writing that she was taking a week off.
Thank you, baby girl.
However, according to her parents, the family had not experienced the death. At 7:27 p.m, a local woman reported a car accident on a sharp corner of Route 112, adjacent to her home. A passing motorist who also lived nearby stopped at the scene and asked the woman driving the car if she needed assistance. She declined, claiming to have called roadside assistance. Upon arriving home several minutes later, the motorist reported the accident to the emergency services. At 7:46 p.m, law enforcement arrived at the scene, but the woman had disappeared. Police ran a trace of the vehicle and discovered it belonged to Maura Murray. Initially, the police treated her as a missing person on the belief that she may have wanted to disappear voluntarily. This speculation was based on her travel preparations and no obvious evidence of foul play. In the days prior to her disappearance, Maura displayed signs of distress. On the evening of February 5th, just 4 days before her disappearance, while she was on duty at the campus security job, Maura spoke on the phone with her older sister, Kathleen. They discussed Kathleen's relationship problems with her fiancé. Around 10:30 p.m, while still on her shift, Maura reportedly broke down into tears. Her supervisor described her as being completely zoned out and unresponsive. The supervisor escorted Maura back to her dorm room around 1:20 a.m. When asked what was wrong, Maura said 2 words: "My sister." The contents of the call remained unknown until October 2017, when Kathleen publicly explained the conversation. Kathleen, a recovering alcoholic, had been discharged from the rehabilitation clinic that evening, and on the way home, her fiancé took her to a liquor store, which caused the emotional breakdown. On Saturday, February 7th, Maura spent the day with her father. They had gone shopping for a car in the afternoon, before later going out to dinner. Maura dropped her father off in his motel room and borrowed his car to drive to campus for a party. She left the party around 2:30 a.m. However, around 3:30 a.m, en route to her father's motel, she struck a guardrail while driving, causing nearly $10,000 worth of damage to her father's car. It is unknown whether Maura was driving under the influence of alcohol, as there was no report of tests being conducted by the police. Maura eventually made it to the motel, where she slept till the morning. Later, the following day, Frederick learned the damage to his vehicle would be covered by his auto insurance. He called her later that evening to remind her to obtain the accident forms from the Registry of Motor Vehicles. They agreed to call again Monday night to discuss the forms and fill out the insurance claim via the phone. In the hours before her disappearance, Maura planned a trip and told no one about it. Shortly after midnight on Monday, February 9th, Maura searched for directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont on her PC. At 1 p.m, she sent an email to her boyfriend. "I love you more, stud. I got your message, but honestly, I don't feel like talking much anymore. I promised to call today though. I love you, Maura." She also made a phone call inquiring about renting an apartment in New Hampshire, a place where her family had vacated to in the past. Telephone records indicate the call lasted for 3 minutes, with the owner deciding not to rent the apartment to Maura. At 1:24 p.m, Maura emailed a work supervisor of the nursing school facility that she will be out of town for a week due to a death in the family, even though no one in her family had died. She also said she would contact them when she returned.
Is he live now,
2:05
undercover?
p.m.
That's at
Maura
the
called
top of the hour, right?
recorded
Yeah,
information
Pink Fan and
about
Baby
booking
Girl
hotels
say it's at
in
the
Vermont.
top of the hour.
The call lasted approximately 5 minutes. At 2:18 p.m, she telephoned her boyfriend and left a voice message, promising him they would talk later. This call ended after 1 minute. In her car, Maura packed clothes, toiletries, college textbooks, and birth control pills. When her room was searched later, campus police discovered most of her belongings packed into boxes, and the art removed from the walls. It is not clear whether Maura packed them that day, but police at the time said she had packed between Sunday night and Monday morning. On top of the boxes was a printed email to Maura's boyfriend indicating trouble in their relationship. Around 3:30 p.m, she drove off campus in a black sedan. Classes at the university had been cancelled that day due to a snowstorm. At 3:40 p.m, Maura withdrew $280 from an ATM. CCTV footage showed she was alone. At a nearby liquor store, Maura purchased about $40 worth of alcoholic beverages, including Bailey's Irish Cream, vodka, and a box of wine.
Thank you, Undercover.
Security footage again shows she was alone when she made that purchase. At some point in the day, she also picked up accident report forms from the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles. Maura left town between 4 and 5 p.m. She called to check her voicemail at 4:37 p.m, the last recorded use of her cell phone.
Okay, Pink Fan.
To date, there is no indication she had informed anyone of her destination or any evidence that she had even chosen one. It was some time after 7 p.m, a Woodsville, New Hampshire resident heard a loud thump outside her home. Through her window, she could see a car up against a snowbank along Route 112. She telephoned the county sheriff department at 7:27 p.m. to report the accident.
Hi, Madonna. Thank you.
911 log.
Yeah, right after this.
Seen a man smoking a cigarette inside her car. However, she later stated that she had not seen a man nor a person smoking a cigarette, but rather had seen what appeared to be a red light glowing from inside the car, potentially from a cell phone.
Trying to see how many minutes
Another
left.
neighbour saw a car as well. The neighbour, a school bus driver returning home, noticed the young woman was not bleeding or visibly injured, but cold and shivering. He offered to telephone for help. She asked him not to call the police and assured him she had already called the AAA for assistance.
I think she
However,
was drinking wine and
AAA
driving.
had no records of this call. Knowing there was no cellular reception in the area, the bus driver continued home and called the police. His call was received by the sheriff's department at 7:43 p.m. He was unable to see Maura's car while he made the call, but did notice several cars pass the road before police arrived. Another local resident driving home from work claimed she passed the scene around 7:37 and saw a police SUV parked face to face with Maura's car. She pulled over briefly and did not see anyone inside or outside the cars and decided to continue home. The witness's statement contradicts the official police log, which has Haverhill police arriving 9 minutes later. According to the official police log, a police officer arrived at the scene at 7:46 p.m. No one was inside or around the car. The car had impacted a tree on the driver's side of the vehicle, severely damaging the left headlight and pushing the car radiator into the fan, rendering it inoperable. The car's windshield was cracked on the driver's side, and both airbags had been deployed.
Oh, she was going fast, kind of, don't you think, you guys?
Inside
For
and outside
damage
the car,
like
they
that.
discovered red stains that looked to be red wine.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the car, the officer found an empty bottle of beer and a damaged box of wine on the rear seat. In addition, he found a AAA card issued to Maura, as well as several home comforts, including her favourite stuffed animal and her favourite book, Not Without Peril. Items that were considered missing from the scenes were Maura's credit card, debit card, and cell phone, none of which had been located or used since her disappearance. The police later reported some of the bottles of purchased liquor were also missing. It would seem there were reliable sightings of Maura later that evening. Between 8 and 8:30 p.m, a construction worker returning home from work saw a young woman moving quickly on foot eastbound on Route 112, about 6 to 8 kilometres east of where Maura's vehicle was discovered. He noted that the young woman was wearing jeans, a dark coat, and a light-coloured hood. He did not report it to the police immediately due to his own confusion of dates, and only discovered 3 months later when reviewing his work records that he had spotted a young woman the same night as Maura's disappearance. The responding officer and bus driver drove around the area searching for Maura. By 8 p.m, EMS and the fire truck arrived to clear the scene. By 8:49 p.m, the car had been towed to a local garage. Authorities would refer to Maura as simply missing at 12 p.m. the next day, almost 24 hours after the last confirmed sighting of her. Shortly after midday the next day, a be on the lookout report for Maura was issued. She was reported as wearing a dark coat, jeans, and a black backpack. A voicemail was left on Maura's father's phone, but it wasn't until he was contacted by Maura's sister that he became aware of the situation. He immediately contacted the Haverhill Police Department and was told that if Maura was not reported safe by the following morning, the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department would start a search. The following day, on February 11th, Maura's father arrived before dawn in Haverhill. At 8 a.m, the search began. A police dog tracked the scent of one of Maura's gloves 100 yards east of where the vehicle had been discovered, but then lost the scent. This suggested to the police that she left the area in another car. At 5 p.m, Maura's boyfriend and his parents arrived at Haverhill. He was interrogated in private and then was joined by his parents for questioning. At 7 p.m, the police said they believed Maura came to the area to either run away or attempt suicide. However, the family believed this was unlikely. Maura's boyfriend had turned off his cell phone during the flight to Haverhill. At some point, he received a voicemail that he believed was the sound of Maura sobbing. The call was traced to a calling card issued to the American Red Cross. On February 12th, Maura's father and her boyfriend held an evening press conference, and the next day, the first press coverage was published. Maura was listed as an endangered and possibly suicidal. A week after Maura's disappearance, her father and boyfriend were interviewed by CNN, and the search was expanded into Vermont. Although missing person cases are normally held by local and state police, the FBI joined the investigation 10 days after she disappeared. The FBI interviewed the family, and the Haverhill police chief announced that the search was now nationwide. 10 days after her disappearance, New Hampshire Fish and Game conducted a second ground and air search using a helicopter with thermal imaging camera and tracking dogs. At the end of February, the police returned the items in Maura's car to her family, and on March 2nd, the family checked out of their motel, exhausted from the search. Maura's father returned nearly every weekend in the months that followed to continue the search.
Wow.
In March 2004, another woman called Brianna Maitland disappeared in Montgomery, Vermont, some 110 kilometers away from where Maura was last sighted in Woodsville.
I remember
Many
that
people were
name.
quick to draw a comparison between the two cases due to the similarities in the disappearances. However, state police have stated there are no links between the two cases. In a press release, the police stated they believed that Maura was heading for an unknown destination and may have accepted a ride in order to continue to that location. They added the fact that no evidence had been found to suggest a crime had been committed, and in doing so, dismissed the possibility of a serial killer being involved. On July 1st, the police retrieved the items from Maura's vehicle from her family for forensic analysis. On July 13th, a 1-mile radius search was performed by nearly 100 searchers, including state troopers, rescue personnel, and volunteers. It was the fourth search around the car crash area, and the first search performed without snow on the ground. Authorities were most interested in locating the black backpack Maura had in her possession, but not found in her car. The police stated the search discovered nothing conclusive. After this point, the case ran cold. On February 9th, 2005, the first anniversary of Maura's disappearance, a service was held where the car was found.
What did I do? Oh, good grief. Let me get back to it. His voice is pretty relaxing. So Jimmy's starting in...
And welcome to
Sorry,
Unsolved.
let's get up there.
In today's episode, we will be
Hold on
exploring
here.
the mysterious disappearance of Maura Murray, a 21-year-old.
All right, so there's
On November
5
1st,
more minutes.
2005, a username, Tom Davies, logged into a message board called Not Without Peril, which was dedicated to discussing Maura's disappearance, and claimed to have seen a black backpack behind a restroom at Penage Wesset Overlook, around 48 kilometres east of where Maura's car was discovered.
Wow.
Senior Assistant Attorney General Jeffrey Streslin stated that the law enforcement was aware of the backpack, but did not disclose whether it had been taken for forensic testing. Later in 2005, Maura's father filed a lawsuit against several law enforcement agencies with the aim of seeing files on the case. In 2006, the New Hampshire League of Investigators, a group consisting of 10 retired police officers and detectives, started working on the case. Tom Shamshak, a former police chief and member of the Licensed Private Detective Association of Massachusetts, said, "It appears that there is something beyond a mere missing person case. Something ominous could have happened here." In October 2006, volunteers led a 2-day search within a few miles where Maura's car was discovered. In the closet of a home approximately 1.6 kilometres away from the crash site, cadaver dogs allegedly went bonkers, possibly identifying the presence of human remains. The house had formerly been the residence of a man who earlier in the case was considered a suspect.
Oh gosh,
A
really?
sample of the carpet from the home was sent to the New Hampshire State Police, but the results were never released to the public.
What?
In 2009, Maura's case was given to the New Hampshire Cold Case Division, and authorities were handling it as a suspicious missing persons case. Senior Assistant Attorney General Jeffrey Streslin said in February 2009 that the investigation was still active. "We don't know if Maura is a victim, but the state is treating it as a potential homicide. It may be a missing person case, but it is being handled as a criminal investigation."
Gosh, so...
In 2010, Maura's father, Frederick, publicly criticised the police investigation for treating the disappearance as a missing person case and not a criminal matter, and called on the FBI to join the investigation. Maura's father now believes she is dead and that she had been abducted that night of her disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
There has been little development in the case over the last decade. In April 2019, an excavation was conducted within the basement of the house where the cadaver dogs possibly identified the scent of human remains. Maura's father, Frederick, had previously wanted to search the home, but the previous owners did not cooperate. Following the sale of the property, its new owners allowed several searches of the property. However, the excavation found nothing. In the years that followed Maura's disappearance, the case received extensive media attention and generated significant speculation on the internet messaging boards and forums, with theories ranging from abduction to voluntary disappearance. However, despite people's best efforts, this case remains unsolved. So, what do you think happened? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time for another unsolvable mystery. Until then, goodbye.
Okay, so I'm going to head over to Jimmy's, and I know many of you will too, over to Dolly Vision. I'm going to say really quickly, especially because what I've noticed is a lot of these people, when they're suspects early on, they turn out to be the perpetrator later on. Not all of them, but many, or quite a few, whatever. So I'm thinking she got out of her vehicle, because I'm remembering it now. She was in the snowbank clear up practically next to that barn type deal. And she probably knocked on the door for help, and he let her in and never let her out. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. But the way this guy, when he told the story, said the dogs went wild over cadaver smell, you know, not animal. Cadaver's a dead body, not a dead animal, right? Or are there cadavers considered with animals too? Maybe. That would be carcass, right? Like, I don't know. I'm learning this stuff, you guys. I just don't know. Yeah, you're right. Strange, no footprints in the snow. But then again, well, yeah, if it wasn't snowing. Maybe by the time they found her car, well, they found her car 10 minutes later. So maybe she crashed and the guy came out. She's sipping her wine, sitting there dazed. Because, I mean, the bottle was open, you guys, because it was all over the seat. They said wine was spilled all over. And he literally lifted her up and grabbed her out of the car and carried her into the house. I don't know. But I don't think there's any more updates. Obviously, that was made 1 year ago. So, oops. Oh, goodness gracious. So yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you for coming over to, what am I calling it? PCT is extreme. All right. I'll see you over on Jimmy's. Thanks for hanging out this 3 hours and 40 minutes. I love you guys. Please like, please subscribe. I'm inching up to 900. Maybe I'll reach it tonight. See you over there. Love you. I really do. Thanks for coming over and hanging out. It's really nice of you guys. Bye, everybody. Thank you for all your help and modding, everybody. Thank you. See you at Jimmy's.